Good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing today? It's good to see everybody. JL here. Welcome to the Stage of Reason here on Wednesday, June 3rd. Let's see who we have in the live chat starting off. Looks like we are a little bit busier than usual. Let me see who we've got here. I see Point Relative is here. Good to see you, Point Relative. Need the intro expanded to 2 hours for the wait time. Thank you so much for being here, Point. Andrew O is here as well. Is also hanging out in the back. Jverse is there. Good to see you, Jverse. Cindy Johnson, good to see you as well. Good evening, good evening. Clive Wells with the obligatory alternative energy. Thank you so much, Clive. And I see Turtle Moves as well, who is flooding the stage with alternative energy. Thank you so much, Turtle Moves. Appreciate you being here. Same with Point Relative. Love all that alternative energy. We're going to power a lot of things here. A lot of reason we're going to power here. Lindsay Bowe, good to see you. Says hello, all of you heathens. Thanks so much for being here. Average Joe is in the house. Says hello, JL and all. Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Reverb's here. Good to see you, Reverb. Wrote in a last name. Someone invited me to their Bible study tonight. Bible study night. I politely declined. They then started proselytizing, and I shut them down with counter arguments and said, "This is why you don't want me at your study." Good point. Yeah, solid. Put a period on it. Good to see you, bud. God equals the square root of -1. Hola, señor. Oat Milk is here. What's up? What's up? Jessica Transmit Alchemist, good morning to you. Thanks so much for being here. Mystery Man with more alternative energy. Thank you so much. Greetings to you. Sedona is in the house. I have the evidence Jesus and God exist because they were black. Makes no sense, but whatever, float your boat, I suppose. And Mystique, Tina Jones is here. Good to see you, Tina. It's been forever. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for hanging out. And it looks like I got everybody in the live chat so far. So dozens of us, I tell you. Thanks so much, Jverse. Appreciate you being here. Oh, welcome everyone. This is the Stage of Reason. This is the twice a week stage that I do here where we talk to believers of all stripes about what they believe and why across a variety of topics, whether it be science, religion, philosophy, theology in and of itself. You name it, we pretty much dive into it. There are prompts that you'll see up on the stage. I know many of you are familiar with, and people can choose from any one of those. And of course, the link is pinned in the side chat. So if you have questions for a non-believer about how we justify things within our worldview, or if you just have some evidence or an argumentation you want to present, you're more than welcome to join us on stage. The link is pinned right there. You come up on here, we'll do a quick tech check, and you're more than welcome. We like to prioritize believers and, of course, people who've never been on the stage before. So we like to have those conversations with new people. So I appreciate you all being here, and hopefully we will get a conversation going. I will say this. I am a bit tired because yesterday was my birthday. And we were just running around, and I've just been pushing. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Been going pretty steady today. And I think this stage right here may be slightly shorter than usual, simply because hi, a bit tired. I'm Dad. Thanks so much, Hermeneutics. Good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. I remember when my dad used to do that shit. Dad, I'm thirsty. Hi, says I'm thirsty. Hi, thirsty. I'm Friday or some shit like that. But yeah, so I may call this one a little bit earlier than usual, just because I don't want to be falling asleep behind the I'll be like, and like, I know Andrew could handle the show by himself if he needed to, but I don't want to just be like here, like zonked out and have Andrew's having to run everything because he can't bring anybody up on stage and just be vamping the whole time. So thank you so much, Jay Smith. Appreciate the happy birthdays from Reverb, Oat Milk, Clive. I do appreciate those belated happy birthdays. Yep. I'm not as old as some of you, but I am feeling every inch of it. I am. And sadly, my insurance company denied the MRI that I was supposed to get this Saturday. They denied the coverage, and I'm not going to pay the amount of money they wanted me to pay out of pocket for that thing for not being covered. So what happened was it wasn't because they just outright denied me. It was because my doctor got the X-rays and was supposed to send them. And then, of course, I'm the company that I'm with, the insurance company I'm with, requested the X-rays so that they could look at them and then approve the MRI. And apparently my doctor's office, my primary care physician, didn't send the X-rays over. So like my insurance company was waiting for them until eventually they was like, well, I guess we're not going to get them. So they just denied it. And so hopefully we don't have to go through the whole process again. They can go through a thing called reconfirmation where they'll put the order back in, say we got the x-rays, send the x-rays, do the whole thing. But that could take a couple of weeks. I don't know, maybe, unless they expedite it. So don't know. I pay very, very little for healthcare. We pay well for healthcare. I'm covered. I have very good coverage, but and the co-pays and deductibles I pay are very small. To be it could be I think for like the maximum I have to pay out of pocket when it's approved is $250, and that could be for something upwards I think of like $15,000. So the coverage is good, but getting in to get it done, it can be atrocious, especially if somebody drops the ball somewhere. So, which sucks. So, unfortunately, I canceled it because I told them I wasn't going to pay like out of pocket for the entire procedure. It's ridiculous. And so we're going to have to reschedule it as soon as my doctor is back in the office, because she is currently out of the office this entire week. American healthcare, baby. Gotta love it. Oh, I appreciate that, Cindy. Thank you so much. But hopefully we'll get it sorted out. And Clive Wells, Clive with PhD Tony's birthday is coming up on Friday. Very cool. We will wish him a happy birthday then. Very awesome. And let's see. I see as well. Sedona says, can I call in on YouTube? I'm on the cusp of half atheist and agnostic. I'm Neo-Genian now. Sedona, you're more than welcome to use the link to come up on stage anytime you like. So if you have questions or if you have something you want to present, then you're more than welcome. And Jessica, you're right. American healthcare is ridiculous, like something out of Rick and Morty. Agreed. Let's see. And here's an argument for centralized digital medical database. Yagi-chan, good to see you. Thanks so much from post-Typhoon Tokyo. Hope you're safe. Good to see you, Yagi. And Inferno as well, evening. And thank you so much for the happy birthday. Appreciate that, Inferno. Let me see. Oh, small fortune on glasses. Just had to replace one. Yep, I get that. And D the Dubs. Hello, Jails. Good to see you, D. Thanks so much for being here. You said his name shouldn't be long now. Yeah, hopefully he'll be along. Greg Sanich is here. Good to see you, Greg Sanich. So any Canadian with any sense already springs for the extra Blue Cross health insurance anyway, because public health care is trash. Now, I just wish we had something a little bit better here. And, of course, Andrew was hanging out in the back. Good to see you, Andrew. I did get your message. I was just running around trying to get things prepped, and I was posting the link into other social media places that I'm attached to. So I was busy all over the place, so I apologize.
No worries.
I know it's a discussion that you'd like to have, and I do want to have that. Also, just I'm tired. So hopefully we'll have a good chat. Hopefully we'll have somebody who wants to come up on stage. We'll have an interesting conversation in order to keep me awake. I've got my Diet Coke here. I'm not on energy drinks anymore, so since I gave those up cold turkey, now I'm just kind of like I'm running off my natural energy as I get from food and caffeine. Jimmy Hall is here. Good to see you, Jimmy. Says, hey, JL, what's up? Been watching for a while now. When the years is Christian now. I'm a skeptic. Always good to hear. Good to hear. And thank you so much for being here, Jimmy. Appreciate you hanging out. And Hermeneutics for $5 says, paying $5 for a birthday wisdom you can share with us now that you're finally 40. I'm a little past that, 46 to be precise. Birthday wisdom that I can share? What birthday wisdom? I don't know if I have any wisdom. I honestly don't. Either that or I am too tired to think of it. I'll tell you what, Herman. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for the support. And if I come up with any birthday wisdom, I will share it here. Yes, I'm not over the hill, but I have a very good view from where I am. That's true. Oh, I'm 10 years older than Jessica. Very cool. So, doing my part to keep you awake and thinking. Thank you. I appreciate that, Herman. Yes. Never play leapfrog with a unicorn. That's very good. That's very good. Take care of your back when you were young. That's some damn good wisdom. Yeah, that's some damn good wisdom from the live chat. If I come up with something that pertains to my life that I've picked up in my short 46 years, then I will definitely share it here. I stand so often on the shoulders of of giants, on people that are smarter than me and have learned from them that it would feel like I'm kind of like co-opting someone else's wisdom. So, but if I there's got to be something in there. Thank you, Darth Gently. Thank you so much for the happy birthday. I appreciate that. You rock, and appreciate you being here. Mr. E-Man says, my birthday wisdom: try not to listen to those trying to tell you that you are not good enough. Oh shit! Yes, they trying to tell you that you are not good enough. Excellent advice there. Excellent. And I'm only 2 years older than average Joe. Here you go, Herman, because Herman gave me the super chat and is asking for that birthday wisdom. One huge takeaway that I would say in my 46 years, there's probably others, but this is the one that pops into my head that I think is really good, especially since we're doing the stage right now. If anyone in your life ever tells you to stop asking questions or to not ask questions, be guaranteed that is exactly what you need to be doing. So I would say that's some solid advice that has served me well over the past 46 years. That if anyone in your life, anyone you come across ever tells you, especially authority figures, ever tells you that you should stop or not ask any questions, be damn guaranteed that is what you need to be doing. So I'd say that's what I have in response to that. Don't be afraid to be bad at something. Make errors and learn from them. Agreed. That'd be another good one. Another solid one would be never take I don't know as a position of weakness. It is a position of strength because it's a position of strength because it positions you to learn more. So
Javers, should we question everything? Really?
I like the idea of questioning everything, keeping that on. Keep your mind open, but not so open that your brain falls out.
We're getting near dad joke territory.
Why do moon rocks taste better than earth rocks, Andrew?
Hold on. What do they taste?
Why do moon rocks taste better than earth rocks?
I've not heard this one, and I'm not going to cheat to look it up.
Because they're meatier.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, so he says, now I'm bummed. I am 13 years and 9 months older than JL. Oh, don't be bummed. Don't be bummed. Look, the damage I've done to my body, I'm like physically older. I may have been on this earth a shorter amount of time, but I have wrecked myself. So I got like the body of like a 70-year-old. I promise you. Rodinell's name says boo. That's good. In kind, if your ball is too big for your mouth, it's not yours. It's a doubt. Not to be taken too seriously, J-Verse. D Dub says, I like the variation. Keep your mind open, but not so open it can be filled with any bullshit. That's true. I like that too. See, plenty of people who've been around longer than I have probably have better wisdom than I do. And never accept candy from a stranger unless they're offering you a ride.
That's right. You see, I don't just get into the truck. I make sure they have candy first.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid.
Darth Gently says, if I caught the age right, I'm 9 years younger, 37. Yeah. Yep. That's right. That math is correct. I had to think about it because I'm tired, but your math is correct. So just over. I am closer to 50 than I am to 40. I'll say that. The one thing that I'm really focusing on is I'd like to live longer than my dad. And that means I've got, as of yesterday, I've got 2 years. 2 years and a few months, because my dad died a few months after his 48th. And so it was because he turned 48. He turned 48 at the start of the year, and it was Easter that he passed of that year. And it was like Easter Sunday that he passed of that year. And so, because he was at work, and So that was a few months. That was in April. So if I make it to, let's see, January, February, March, April, May. So if I make it to 48 and 4 months, I will have outlasted my dad. I'll say that. Noise ending says, I'm just here for the Jason in the closet. Awesome. Yeah, we do love him over there. Looking out over the stream. Appreciate that. Noise and Probing Time is here. Good to see you, Probing Time. Remember that time when Probing Time came into the chat and he said, it's probing time, and everybody probed? It was fucking awesome. It says, hello there, JL and everyone. Happy birthday. I gather is in order too. I missed the age, but if you're under 50, I've got a good 20 years on you, sonny boy. Yes, you do. And I will be sure to stay off your lawn. But I appreciate you being here, Probing Time. Thanks so much. Vesta Freya is here as well. Good to see you. And Kalagonchik, this is good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Do appreciate it. Let's see. Hopefully we will get somebody in the stage, somebody on the stage shortly, because I'd love to get into a conversation instead of having to do review content all the time. That because the other stuff that I have on my computer, I have set for the stuff I have on my computer. I have set for scripts. I have scripts written for them, and I start eating into that. Then I won't have any content to like. What I plan to do is I plan to keep the Sunday and the Wednesday, and then drop content in between them, and so it'll be like live stream content, live stream content, live stream, and so hopefully I'll be able to do that. And I hate to start eating into stuff that I have actual scripts written for, because I think they're pretty good. Let's see who else we have. Let me go ahead and clean up the studio real quick, and I'll check. That's true. If your balls land on your lawn, they're yours, and you get to keep them. That is the rule. Yeah, my favorite coworker's turned 35 times. She's a hoot. Nice. Jason is the peacekeeper when Earl is not around. Cord Lizard Mage, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Let me check the Discord, see if anybody's around. No, don't want to talk about that. Definitely no flat Earth. Well, I guess we could. I could deal with a flat Earther if one popped in.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a slow week, huh?
Yeah, it is slow. It's a slow week. If I'm saying let's bring a flat Earther on. I'll tell you this: I did reach out to somebody on YouTube, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat who are fans of Forrest Valkyrie. Throw a one in the chat if you're a fan of Forrest and Forrest's work. And I caught his latest video when it was this apologist dude that apparently he's got a real problem with Forrest. Forrest has engaged with him before, and he did this movie, this really, really crappy movie. Yes, the Discord link is down in the description, Darth, down in the description. So this apologist guy is an old dude, did like this movie, and he cast a guy in it to basically be like this version of Forrest, and this guy named Bo, and I invited him. Apparently the Bo guy was this Bo guy, this actor, made the claim that Valkites don't debate. All they do is talk shit from the stands. And I was like, dude, yeah, it's a hilariously bad CT. You're right. It is. Dude's movie was hilariously bad, just terrible. But that was a long video that Forrest did. But I messaged the guy. I went over to his channel. He's got like 3,000 subs. And I went over to his channel, and he's got like no comments on like virtually anything. So I commented to, given that he rarely gets comments, I know he's going to see it. So I commented, like, I like to debate. I'm a fan of Forrest, and I like to debate. Why don't you come on over to my stream and I'll discuss it with you. I doubt he will, even though my channel is like 5 times bigger than his, and probably be decent exposure for him. But I invited him over. I don't know if he will, but I think it would be funny if he did. It would be entertaining at least. Let me see. What is this? God, somebody tried to attempt claim ownership of my room.
What?
I don't know. I just got a notification. Somebody tried to claim ownership of my room.
Wait, the stage of reason on Discord?
Yeah. Weird.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Came in from the politics
yeah,
pod.
I see it. Yeah, I see the request there.
That is weird.
Profile check time.
Sedona, if you can prove God's existence, we'd more than likely, I'd be more than happy to hear that. We'd love to hear what you have to present. So, yeah, he said the actual comment. Thank you, CT. The actual comment he wrote was, "You realize none of you debate, right? You just drink Valkalized water," which was hilarious, right? And Valkites. I like Valkites, and I may make myself a custom hat that says "Proud Valkite" on it, and I'll wear it next time I see Forrest. Let's see. Not seeing the forest for the trees. Yeah, I like that. Hermanu says, I need a glasses half full team. JL, Erica, and Vice Rhino. Oh, that would be awesome. You know, given you bringing that up, that reminds me. And Jay Smith, good to see you. I really do hope that Skeptic does another collaboration. The collaboration I did with the other 9 members, with the other 9 people in the Super Atheist Friends collaboration, that was a lot of fun. But, you know, putting together 10 videos and then splitting those up amongst 9 other people, and then putting those compilations out on all of our channels so that everybody that you had 10 full videos that were collections of like all of our stuff all together. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. I'd love to be able to do that again. Guts at Gibbon, Vice Rhino, Dapper Dinosaur. These are all great suggestions for the Skeptic to have on the next collaboration. He said he was going to do it again. I haven't heard anything about it yet. It took a lot of wrangling to get the 10 of us that were there. And even then, Simon Dan kind of came in. Was it Simon? I think it was Simon Dan kind of came in towards the end because he was really, really busy. So, but I really hope to do that again sometime. Who just popped in? Who just popped into the Discord? Conan Edogawa. And they left. Oh, they didn't hear me because I'm on push to talk. Son of a bitch. Well, we'll hold it right there. I'll remember I'm on push to talk next time. Wrangle, dangle, bangle. All right, all right, all right. Hey, BV, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, I would love to do it more, CT. It was a fun time. We had a blast doing all that. So, Brainy Brainy Beaver is still on. He's dropping stuff occasionally. He's just been really, really busy, just stuff in his personal life. I message him occasionally. I get messages from him when he finds something funny and he wants to share it with me and stuff like that. So, one thing that's really, really cool, and I was really, really happy about Brainy, is that when you look at his background, the background of his office, he has an item in there that I sent him, and it's the Buc-ee's coffee mug. Because here in the States, we have if people here in the States are likely familiar with Buc-ee's, which is a kind of like travel stop that is slowly but surely creeping or there's getting more of them throughout the country. They're in Texas, I think we're getting one here in Oklahoma, but they're massive. If you're a fan of Papa Meat, you definitely saw his video on Buc-ee's and when he was breaking down what it is. But they sell Buc-ee's merchandise, tons and tons of merchandise, and they sell a Buc-ee's mug, a Buc-ee's coffee mug, which is basically the beaver head that you see on the logo. And I sent when I was traveling with Irish Demon and Johnny O, when we were doing our traveling, we stopped by a Buc-ee's so we could show Irish Demon, so we could show Sean what a Buc-ee's looked like, and he was kind of like, because he'd never seen anything like that. Obviously, being from Ireland. And Ireland and Australia, he'd never seen anything of that just that size. When you've got like over 100 gas pumps, and the entire like the inside of the store with like which is almost like a department store. So yeah, he was kind of blown away, and I managed to pick one of those up and ship it out to Brandy Beaver so he could have it for his collection. Professor Hizzle's in the house for $5. Thank you so much. It's good to see you, homie. That beard is looking majestic as fuck. Thank you. Appreciate that. You rock. I appreciate that support, Professor Hizzle. We still have apparently have a believer in the chat who is yet to come up, and I'm hoping that they do. So Cindy John says, I don't want the Buc-ee's that is coming to Virginia. Where are they putting it? Can't handle that amount of where they're putting it, can't handle that amount of traffic. We have the same thing going on here in Oklahoma, where there is a proposed area for a Buc-ee's, and it's getting a lot of pushback from the local community just because they're so big. It's like almost like a Costco's version of a gas station. And they're just so enormous, and they require so much infrastructure to be built in that people just kind of like, they don't want it. So I did amaze Irish Demo with indoor plumbing. And, you know, and where he could get like, you know, various meats like brisket and stuff like that. He loved it. I think, I know he loved the brisket. CT says, I'm in Wawa territory. Haven't even heard of Buc-ee's until a few recent videos on it. I think Eddie Burback was my first peek in when he was doing those cross-country trips. Yep, and here's I'm familiar with Wawa because I used to work for their sister company a long time ago. So, Buskies, I dug it. I dig Buc-ee's to a certain degree, you know, and Wawa was cool. I got to go the first time I ever went to a Wawa was I was up in Philadelphia, and my friend and I went up to Philadelphia to PAX East to try and market the board game that we made. So we made a board game. I've shown it before. I've got it like here I got it here in the glass case, but we made a board game. And we were really, really proud of it. So we decided to take it to PAX East. So we got tickets, everything, and we, you know, paid the whole thing so we could like talk to the dealers and we could do like demos of the game as well. And so we went up to PAX East up in Philadelphia, and that's where I hit Wawa for the first time, and also hit the pub, Max Tavern, while it was still open. Max Tavern, which is owned by by a couple of the cast members from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And we hit Max Tavern, which was amazing. That place was awesome. Sadly, it did not. They survived the pandemic, but unfortunately, it was just too much. And so I know they eventually shut down. Or they sold the place. So I think they shut down and they just sold it off. But I got to check out Max Tavern. The food was amazing, and got to hit a Wawa and got to have some legitimate awesome Philly cheese, which is just great. But that was a lot of fun going up to PAX East. Moobies. This is some good shit. What do you call this shit? Egg and Moobie muffin. Man, back in my day, all we had was fish and goat's milk. Oh, show the game? Come here. I can certainly do that. 1 second. Got the tardigrade, people are probably familiar with. Had these for a long time. I may have to go like full screen on this one. I have the big screen. It's my tardigrades. Squishy tardigrade. Back early on in my early on when I was kind of like developing the channel, I think when I was still under like 5,000 subs, I used to give these away. So I gave these away as prizes. So, but I still kept a few for myself. And they came in a little bag like this. You could order like this, but I still kept a couple of them. But they're squishy tardigrades, which I love these ones.
Yeah, stress ball animals.
Yep. And this is the game that we designed called Briefcase. And that was the cover, the back and everything. But this game was pretty badass. We went full out, got artwork done, figures, all kinds of cool stuff. Got the cards, rule book, and of course, This one is not punched out yet. They still have the cards still in the all the tiles are still in the little deal, so they're not yet punched out. So I haven't like actually undone this one yet. There's the decals that are involved in that, and tokens, and of course the player cards, which we were really pleased with because we went all out for these ones because we hired an artist to come in and actually do these. And if you look, see if I can get a good look on that. Let me see one sec. There we go. So it was for 2 to 4 players and we if we'd gotten it to take off, we would have definitely made more. But it's briefcase and action game of super spies and espionage is what it is. It was the game that we designed. And these were all of the cards. These were all the cards that represented things within the game. And then, of course, there were the tiles. And this is how many tiles that we made for it. There were 9 tiles for each one, for each like page. And I think they're for like each one of these cardboard deals. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there should be 8 in here. So like that. But in each one, so basically what would happen is this. You'd have, these are all the cards that would be off to the side. And then you would get a piece of these to start. This would be your loadout. So each super spy has their own loadout. And so these cards would make up your loadout. And then these tiles would be placed face down. And when the game starts out, you have your loadout, and then the tiles are all in a pile, and then you shuffle them randomize like as you normally would, and then the objective of the game is for the spies to enter the facility, to enter the base, find the briefcase or the MacGuffin, find the briefcase, and then make their way out. Everybody has the ability, like all the different spies have the ability to interact with the base in different ways. They have special powers, and of course they can like steal the briefcase from people. They can do stuff like the blue guy was a hacker, the green guy could move really, really fast. All of them had different abilities, and of course it was a hidden element to the game, and then there was an action element to the game. So, talking to Jew, sweet. So, but it was a lot. I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with it, and so good times. So let me put that back up. So we had a lot of fun playtesting that. We playtested it. We spent almost a year designing and playtesting it, doing alpha testing and beta testing, and basically put it together. So we enjoyed it. We enjoyed the hell out of it. The different each one of the characters has their own card, which has their like base stats and all in their special powers and what they can do on that. And so you'd basically go in, and the cool thing about it was that the base that you go into to find the MacGuffin, the base was always randomized. So you would you'd have the set amount of deals, you'd have the special MacGuffin card, and then that would be randomized into the base tiles, and then those would be, and then boom, so you don't know where it's going to be at. You have to move room to room. They're like automatic defenses that are built within the base, and you have to overcome those, find it, then you have to escape. So without it having been stolen by your fellow spies, because once you find it, all the alarms go off, and then everything is visible, and then it's just a mad dash to try and get out of there before someone steals it from you. So it was a lot of fun to design. It took us a long time. We were really proud of it, and unfortunately, we didn't get it. We didn't get it sold, or anybody to pick up, because all the people that we talked to, it wasn't really for them. Wasn't something that they focused on. But nonetheless, I can say. That I helped design a board game. My friend and I designed a board game, which I think was pretty badass. So, that's something I could do. if I could get some players, we could sit down and actually like videotape it, like actually show us playing it, like show us playing the game. I think that might be cool. It all started out with literally it started out with we outlined everything, and then the very first board game, like the very first like play thing that we made was we took a piece of cloth and we just drew out the grid and then we made the cards on like note cards, on like 3x5 note cards. We just wrote out what it was, and then that's how we played, and then used like various like tokens from other things to represent the players. So it all started out like we just just crafted it together. That was pretty much it, until we finally decided that we had a really good idea, and then we went forward and we produced it. So artwork, and I think that my friend still has the 3D figures because we 3D printed the 4 spies. We had like models of them done, so we have the 4 models 3D print. I think he still got those in his in his copy, because he's got a copy of the game, and I've got one. So, but yeah, I think he still got I'm pretty sure he still got the 3D printed ones. The 3D prints look pretty cool. Kieran Dave is here. Good to see you, Kieran Dave. Thanks so much for being here. And CT, running. Here's the thing about Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and a bunch of those. Running those campaigns is a job in and of itself. Staying on top of that, and you got to know how to run a successful campaign. Typically, in order to run a successful one, I have many friends in the filmmaking industry who have successfully done Kickstarters for their movies, for their indie projects, and all of them have reported you pretty much have to hire a team. You bring a team on who's either willing to work for free, or you pay them, the ones who've been successful, and they will run a campaign for you. They'll help you design it, help you figure out what your flex goals are, and what bonuses or what things people should get for supporting. And people who are successful, that they know what they're doing, but it takes time, and you have to be on top of that all the time. And so it takes, either you're doing it yourself, or you're bringing someone in to handle that for you. So they just tell you what you need, and you just give it to them. And I've never been, never known anybody who could do that. So, it's a good thing. It's just they're not always successful. But if you know somebody who has, or if you can bring someone on who can run a successful campaign, you could probably get your stuff funded. But that's, paying for them and having them do that all the time, that can get really, really expensive. So, Krakatoon, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. And Canadian All Man is here. Good to see you. Thanks so much for hanging out. I did not know that Tony was an ICP fan. I did not know that. Sedona. So, Sedona, you've made multiple claims. You're more than welcome to come up on the stage, and we can have a talk about what you believe and why you believe it. So, anytime you're ready, anytime you want, you can come on up and present your evidence or whatever it might be. We can have that conversation. So, all you have to do is click the link. Link is pinned in the side chat. Yeah, Javers, it's doing those things that they can be successful in it, and it's decent. It really is decent. But you got to be on top of them, and you've got to be constantly. It's literally like its own job. One of my friends, when I was doing Week in Horror, one of the guys I talked to, a guy named Alex, who was working on his 3rd film, and he was kickstarting this 3rd one after a successful campaign on his 2nd film. And I asked him about, can you dive into what it's like running one of those campaigns? He says, first and foremost, he never ran it because he realized after the 2nd film, when he did it himself, it took as much effort and energy to run the Kickstarter campaign as it did to make the movie itself. And so the 3rd time, he brought someone in to do it, someone that he trusted, that was a recommendation from another friend, and he brought them in, and they ran the campaign. And all he did was he focused on the movie, and whenever the person running the campaign needed something, they'd call him up and say, hey, we need this for the campaign. Here you go. It's yours. And he would just give it to him, and then the dude would go to the page and run it all. And that guy had 4 people working with him, constantly doing stuff and responding to people, responding to questions, and making sure everything was updated and looked solid, and constantly running it to make sure that it was popping in the algorithm. So to make sure that people basically maximize its visibility, and all that took effort, that time that he just did, that Alex just didn't have. So it's tough. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that, Krakatoon. Bad times. Bad times. Well, we're getting people in the Discord chat, and they're leaving. Who was that?
Missed him by a second.
Damn it. Because I wasn't looking at the... I wasn't actually looking at it. I was scrolling up to look another to link the stage. Clive Wells, the Witch of Orleans. So I would love to have a conversation. Sedona keeps teasing us. Sedona keeps teasing us to come up here. So Andrew says we need to pimp. Is like Stephen Woodford does his game Debunked. And Rationality Rules' game Debunked is really, really good. That was a really good board game design, and I think he did something really smart there. We actually had ideas for a bunch of different games. One game that we had that we never made. Hermeneutics, I'm chilling on the stage. Or no, you're on Bridge the Divide. You're not. Oh, dang it. Hang on a sec, Andrew. I screwed up.
You better get back in that channel. That little thief is going to try to steal it out from under you again.
Right. Yeah, we're on the politics server. So, but hermeneutics, if you're in the live chat, you can use the link to you can use the StreamYard link that's pinned. Because you're over on my server. So you got to come out, use the StreamYard link that is pinned in the live chat here. Yeah, so it's literally at the bottom of the live chat that you just typed in. Spurs. Oh, Ilcat is here. I saw Ilcat earlier today over in John Cohen's stream because I popped over there for a bit. And Ilcat says no one can disprove Jesus. That depends upon what the claim is. So in a way, I can. But if you're willing to, but here's the thing, Ilcat. I don't know if you have the courage to come up on stage and defend your position. Okay? 1 Peter 3:15. Come on up. All right? Feel free. We have believers in the chat. I don't know what you're afraid of. I don't know what you would be afraid of to come up on stage and actually have a conversation with us. You're not going to get dogpiled. As long as you're cool and as long as you can carry on a conversation and I don't have to mute you in order to get a word in edgewise, then we can have a conversation about this. It's possible, Cord. It is possible. Ilcat may be a troll. I want to give Ilcat the benefit of the doubt because I schooled Ilcat in the live chat over on John Cohen's stream.
Oh, was he lurking in just the tech side?
Yeah, just doing I keep getting timed out on all the other channels. Atheists don't want smoke. You will not get timed out. Okay, you'll get timed out in my live chat by the mods if all you do is spam nonsense. That's why you will get timed out. But you will only get timed out here in this live chat if all you do is spam. That's when you'll get timed out. If you come up on stage with us, I will not mute you unless you get out of control. When I'm trying to respond to a question, or if I need to ask you something, or if I'm looking for clarification, if you just keep running over me, then you will get muted so that I can maintain a solid or a stable conversation. But you have to be willing to actively listen. You have to be willing to actively engage. If you can do that, then you can come up on stage. And if you do that, then obviously the people in the live chat will not mute you. The mods will not time you out, because they'll only do that if all you do is spam. If all you do is spam nonsense, we're not interested in that. Okay? So you can be an adult, come up on stage, answer questions, ask questions of your own if you have questions yourself. We'll be more than happy to talk with you. And Hermeneutics is here. What's up, Herman?
I just want to make an argument for Christian nationalism.
For Christian nationalism?
Based in First Peter.
Okay.
So First Peter 2:9, I think that Christians should be able to live as a holy nation set apart from the world. And they can confess with their mouths that Christ is king, and their laws can fall under Philippians, and we can move them all to an island by themselves.
My mind went exactly where you concluded. I was like, then let's set them up a little place that they can go.
I just want them to be free of the corruption of our secular pluralism, and our tolerance.
They need their own little island paradise that they can just run themselves, have their own little government, their own little population. Let them do it. Let them do their thing.
Exactly. All right, I'm trolling a little bit. I'll hop down, but
Okay, Urban, I appreciate you popping up, dude. Thanks so much, man. And Ilcat, you won't be on hold here because you can just click the link and it'll put you on, and it will bring you up on stage. So, but I guarantee you, if all you do is spam preachy nonsense without backing any of it up, you're just going to get timed out. That's not what we're interested in. Okay? We want you to defend why you believe it. Bring your evidence, bring your arguments, bring your justification. That's what we're interested in. That's the purpose of the stage. If you notice that the title of the stage is Bring Your Evidence.
This is funny because he says he's on hold for some other channel, but you've got an open invite and a door here right now. So I don't think you really want to be anywhere. You just want to feel like you're welcome.
Right. 100th Monkey is here. Good to see you. Says, then leave Earth and go to heaven. Oh, savage. But good to see you, 100th Monkey. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Spam goes here. Is it? Good to see you. Spam goes here. Thanks so much for being here. Can't speak as well. Good to see you. Thanks so much for hanging out. As well as Claire View is in the house. Good to see you, Claire. Thank you so much for the birthday message over on Facebook. Appreciate that. I know I'm still on there and it still sends out notifications. So I appreciate that. And Lindsay Bowe is here. Good to see you, Lindsay. Thanks so much for being here. BV as well. Spreading the gospel in jails chat is loser shit. It kind of is. It kind of is. Robin Webster, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Neighbors, yeah. Bruno's name, good. Ilcat. B. Neighbors, good. Yeah, got everybody. Cool. Oh, Tesla Bitten Radio. Good to see you. Says on the road, but listening. Drive safe. And I appreciate you being here, Tesla. Thanks so much for hanging out. As a matter of fact, since now I'm sitting here thinking about myself. Hang on a sec. Let me go to my studio. I am 30 away from 15K. 30 away from 15K. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
You don't rhyme all the time.
No more rhyming now. I mean it. Come on, Andrew. You know the response.
Oh, this sounds awfully familiar. It's sitting in the back.
No more rhyming now. I mean it.
Anybody want a peanut? Oh, okay. We're back to Princess Bride.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, D to the Dubs.
That took just a little longer than I would have liked.
I had to tap it. Had to tap the tap the old nostalgia folder.
I miss the old days when it was classified as a mental disorder in the DSM.
Oh, awesome. Use the new KJV. Try to use some kind of current translation if you're not going to fess up to the NRSV. So many Bibles, so many times. Ryan Murphy, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Got a bunch of people in the side chat. This is really, really good. And unfortunately, no believers. I got several people in the side chat who have said that they can defend their position, but they are not coming up here, which sucks. And I really, really want them to. Sedona, Ilcat, come on. Ilcat says, I should be able to use the Bible as my source. I can prove Jesus is God. Jesus was a spirit in Genesis 1-2, KJV. Okay, there's a problem with that, Ilcat, and I know it's been explained to you before. Okay, and Robert Webster brings it up again. You cannot prove the Bible with the Bible. Okay, the Bible is the claim. Because your Bible is either correct or it is mythology. Technically theology, but it's myth. It's Christian mythology. A combination of Judaic and Christian mythology. It's one or the other. Okay? The theological / supernatural claims either happened or they did not. So how do we determine that that the claims you're making within the book? No, but you say you're a biblical scholar, but how do we know? How are we able to determine that the claims made in your book, the supernatural claims or the theological claims, are in fact true without begging the question? You can't. That's the problem. You don't have a logically consistent way of confirming that information. You're just saying that the God exists and the Bible is the proof of this. No, because just like all those other religions that posit a God and have their own holy books, you reject them as being false, yet you don't apply the same level of scrutiny to your own faith, which means your epistemology is broken. So no, why would I beg the question of the existence of a God to do something, to do what you claim it does? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that?
Yeah, Ilcat. So why do you atheists get to use Bible to disprove? Well, when the Bible says God is one way, and then it says God is another way, and those don't agree, apparently the book is not too trustworthy. And now that's not a disprove. That's just saying it can't be both.
Spam Goes Here points out, a scholar would understand why already. And Punta de Lest, good to see you, Punta de Lest, says, Ilcat, do you not know what an internal critique is? Holy shit. Yeah, internal critiques, dude. Can't Speak points out, because the claim is in the Bible, so it will be involved in the process. Okay? We take the claim that you're making and we say, what would it take for this claim to be true? How do we know that this claim is true? What are you predicating the truth of that claim upon? It's all about asking questions and understanding why you need to ask those questions. In this case, it's an internal critique. When I use the Bible and things within the Bible, okay, to show some issue, I'm doing an internal critique of your worldview. I take your worldview, I identify the things within it, and then I address something internally in order to show some form of contradiction. And yes, Cord is right. Cord Lizard Mage is correct. Scholars don't use the KJV because the KJV is trash. Kieran Dave says, even if you permitted the Bible as evidence, its claims are wild and you have to start making ad hoc demarcations in the boom for the real versus allegorical parts. Agreed. That's even assuming that there is a way to get around the hermeneutical problem, which I honestly don't think that there is. So, Sedona, nobody here is going to be mean. As long as you're capable of having a conversation, you can come up on stage and we can have one. And internal critiques sound like using the Bible to pick and choose when to use it or not. No, that is not what an internal critique is. You see, Ilcat, we could definitely take the time to educate you on these things. We can answer questions that you may have. For example, why does the argument from divine hiddenness provide a rational justification for non-belief? A biblical scholar would know the answer to that because they'd be familiar with Schellenberg's argumentation there and how it pertains to a specific definition of the Christian God. If you were a scholar, you'd know that. Okay, or we could go to contradictions within the book itself. We could say that in one verse it says that God is love. And then in 1 Corinthians it says that love is not jealous. But then in Exodus and in two places in the Old Testament, God is jealous. So how can God be both love and jealousy if love is not jealous? I brought that up one time. I brought that up to an apologist, and they did the worst fucking post hoc. Or was that be post hoc or ad hoc? No, I think it was ad hoc, because he pretty much just redefined what the context of jealousy was. Like he established this whole new context for what jealousy was. Even though if you take the plain reading of the text, that is not what it meant. So he basically just reinterpreted the entire thing in order to do away with that contradiction. So these are important questions to ask. We can tell you and explain to you why we ask them. So if you are willing to put your own epistemology under the microscope, that's a conversation we would like to have. So click on the link and come up on stage. As long as you can, comport yourself like an adult, you won't be timed out and you won't be muted. We're not picking on Sedona. Like, how have I picked on Sedona?
Hold on. I think we need to pick on Ilcat. Okay. Hi. You're now the target of my ire. Here's where we are now. This is us. So picking on Sedona, she is a girl. That's... Oh, I see. And we're bullying. Yes, we are horribly, horribly bullying. You can tell the violence is real. No. Wow. Wow.
I mean, if the reason Sedona, basically, if the reason like what Sedona was commenting there, and I was inviting Sedona up on stage, and Sedona says people are mean. If the reason your guys' rhetoric is devolving into like just like the weakest shit ever is because you're just rage baiting and we're not giving into your rage bait, because there's a way to do this, even with rage bait. And this is something this is one of the failings that has been pointed out. One of my failings that's been pointed out by a number of people is because sometimes it's extremely obvious when people, when people come into the live chat and they're just rage baiting, or people come up on stage and they're just trying to destabilize the stage, and they're just by just rage baiting and just being completely intellectually dishonest. Even people who are doing that, in my mind, you can still have a constructive conversation with them by showing them that the rage baiting is not going to work. No one in the live chat is giving into your rage bait nonsense. What we want you to do is defend your claim. If you continue to spam nonsense, you're just going to get timed out, because that we're not interested in that. And Sedona, you did not give 3 reasons why God exists. Okay. Joan of Arc giving testimony is, this could have happened. Okay. So, or Fatima, okay. Joan of Arc's testimony, that's a person who believed a thing. That doesn't say anything about that what they believed, that what that individual believed was true, just that they believed it. Fatima, the Fatima miracle has already been debunked. If you don't know how it's been debunked, we can explain that to you. And the God particle is just the name for the Higgs boson. As a matter of fact, I can do this. So the nickname God particle is a media invention originally coined by Leon Lederman. He wanted to title his 1993 book The Goddamn Particle due to the decades-long billion-dollar frustration of trying to detect it. His publisher changed it to The God Particle, and the catchy phrase stuck. Physicists generally dislike the term because it exaggerates the particle's religious connection. However, the nickname has endured in pop culture for 2 main scientific reasons. Mass-giving mechanism. The Higgs boson is the quantum manifestation of the Higgs field, which is responsible for giving fundamental particles their mass. Without mass, particles would zip around at the speed of light, and atoms, along with planets, stars, and life itself, could never have formed. Elusive nature. Just like a deity, the particle was everywhere, governing the fundamental structure of the universe, yet incredibly difficult for humans to actually prove and observe. So, the Higgs boson's nickname, the God particle, is a media invention. Leon Lederman, Nobel Prize-winning physicist, Leon Lederman, wanted to title his book The Goddamn Particle, which is, the frustrating particle. but his publisher changed it to the God particle. Probably smart, because as far as marketing goes, boom, the book exploded. So the God particle, and off to the races they went. It's a media invention. So of the 3 reasons you gave, Joan of Arc's testimony, which 1 can't be confirmed because we don't have access to Joan herself. 2, we don't know how much interpolation was involved, since they freaking, burned her at the stake and then they changed their mind 400 years later. 3, just because she believed it doesn't make it true. She could have been mentally ill. The Fatima event has long since been debunked through through interviews done with individuals separately. So we know what was happening there, and it was a combination of multiple social issues, social things that were going on. And the God particle is media invention. None of those 3 are reasons to believe that a God exists. So done.
Wait, you mean to say that Obamacare is just a media invention for the Affordable Care Act? What?
You got it.
What?
You've cracked the code.
Whoa.
And like Rodent Nelson brings up, I think the God helmet has a very different connotation. Right. And that device Sedona, Rodent Nelson brings up the God helmet. What it's actually called is the Karen helmet. Okay. Which is specifically, it's a device that you wear. And the correct, let me see. 1 second. Damn it. Hang on a sec. Developed by Michael Persinger and Stanley Karen. The Karen helmet, otherwise known as the God helmet, is an experimental neuropsychological apparatus created in the 1990s. It uses weak, complex magnetic fields to stimulate the brain's temporal lobes, aiming to induce feelings of a sensed presence, mystical states, or religious experiences. Basically, you put on the helmet, and they stimulate your brain, your temporal lobes, with magnetic fields, and they can induce religious euphoria. And Persinger claimed that up to 80% of participants reported a feeling of sensed presence, like a ghost, angel, deity, while wearing the helmet. So, but there you go. They call it the God helmet because of the effect that it has, not because there's anything like religious or mystical about it. The tone you use, don't even go off about it. Just Ilcat, if you've got nothing then the mods are just going to handle you. Seriously. The tone you use when addressing Sedona and I are very off-putting for constructive feedback. Stop whining. Yeah, stop whining.
This is horrible tone. Yes, we're screaming at the top of our lungs. This is ridiculous. Utter monstrosity. Yeah, I think that previous claim of Ilcat just being a troll. Yeah,
I'm thinking so.
Yeah, this isn't offering anything, and it's not even an argument. Yeah, if they don't want to come up, hey, whatever. Ilcat, why should we capitalize the G in God? I mean, it's not like English was the language that was used to describe your thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Ilcat, that's the kind of stuff right there that's gonna get you timed out. So I'm just giving you a heads up. In case you get timed out, it's shit like that that's gonna get you timed out. Okay.
Yeah, Ilcat wants to talk shit.
And TP Seeker thing says, didn't Mythbusters debunk the helmet? Different helmet. It was in season 4, episode 13, Mind Control, where they evaluated whether a remote operated mind control helmet could successfully manipulate or force a person's thoughts and brainwaves. And they busted the myth that telepathy and synthetic out-of-body experiences can be induced by psionic helmets. And so that one was, but I think, let me see. Mythbusters did not specifically test the God helmet. They've tested different. I think I don't have the name for what they tested, but they didn't specifically test Persinger and Karen's helmet. Is the key, but they tested other helmets that purported to do like to induce psionic abilities. And telepathy and shit like that. Although I am seeing here, this would be good. So not Mythbusters TP, but you did bring this up, and I wanted to look into this because I did not know this. I have learned something, and good to see you, Van the Man. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. And yeah, Sedona is Gish Galloping, but I already knocked down all of Sedona's things. And Confuzzled, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Oh, Sedona misgendered you? Not good. Not good. Not good, Sedona. Don't be antisocial. You know, like your own book says, don't be a dick. In some places, in other places it says definitely be a dick. Or you have the right to be a dick because your God says so. So TP Seeker. Boom. This is really, really good. And I'm glad that you brought this up. Apparently, in 2018, a series of experiments were done at the University of Amsterdam that demonstrated that concluded sufficiently enough that participants' reported visions were actually due to the placebo effect combined with the power of suggestion. I did not know about that. And that apparently was reported on something. Well, then again, I have to look into this further because that's the source for that is a YouTube channel called Religion for Breakfast. Learn religion with real scholars. Join the religion department for guest lectures, guided readings, and member-only courses. Okay, so that's hang on a sec. So that's okay, that's not, I don't think that's a good source. University of Amsterdam 2018 experiments. Let's see. In 2018, researchers from the University of Amsterdam conducted a study demonstrating that the God helmet, originally designed by Karen and Persinger, works entirely via the placebo effect. The fake helmet successfully induced mystical experiences in participants by capitalizing on the power of suggestion. The researchers converted an ordinary metallic skate helmet into a fake brain simulation device. It had wires attached to a flashing box, but no actual electrical current ran through it. The conditions: volunteers were blindfolded, wore noise-canceling headphones, and were told the helmet would electromagnetically stimulate their brains to induce supernatural experiences. A large majority of participants reported feeling extraordinary sensations ranging from weak and strong bodily feelings to hallucinations and time distortion. Even though what they put on their head was not doing anything. So they didn't actually test Persinger's device. They just made their own. And showed how. Okay, so hang on. So wait. So this is okay. These are the rabbit holes that get really, really interesting. So Koren and Persinger actually, they made their helmet, and it actually stimulated the brain, or they bombarded the brain with waves, with electromagnetic waves. Okay, and claimed that these were the reports. And what these researchers in 2018 at the University of Amsterdam did was they made a fake helmet and showed how the placebo effect can get the same results. But they themselves did not test Persinger and Koren's actual device. So we know it can come through. We know it can be accomplished via placebo effect. And then we have Persinger and Koren's work as well. So the question is, which one of them is correct? You need a better control. You need like a double blind study to see what you could actually corroborate out of that. Induce spiritual experiences. This is curious. I'm very curious. Let's see here. You little boy keeps following me and trolling a bully. What's your problem? You acting like a kid. Okay, so first Sedona grammar. And I think you're misgendering them again. So Sedona, if you're going to be antisocial, you're just going to get yourself timed out. I'll let the mods handle you. So officially at this point right now, Ilkat and Sedona, I'm putting you in the hands of the mods. Okay? I trust the mods. That's why they're mods. I trust them. So they will handle you. if need be. I'll leave it to them. unless one of you wants to like click the link and come up on stage. Okay? Because I'll be happy to knock down whatever you can bring. I know your God doesn't exist, and I can actually show it, so. Don't need to, Ilcat. I'll wreck whoever you send. It's not hard. When I say I'll wreck whoever you send, it's not like I'm claiming this is not a claim that's going to be like, oh wow, you'll knock down. You send me Frank Turek, I'll eat Frank Turek's lunch. You send me Kent Hovind, I'll eat Kent Hovind's lunch. You send me any of these cats, it doesn't matter. You send me the McDowells, you send me Connectiles. I don't care. I'll eat their lunch because I know how I know literally foundationally why their position fails. It's not difficult. This is not some great challenge that I've overcome. This is not something that you would publish papers on. It's not hard. I've done it multiple times before, and I can counter anything you throw at me. I've had these conversations enough, and I've done enough research on this, and I understand the topic well enough. They're not difficult. Even Andrew will tell you, like tearing this shit down, it's like wet tissue paper. It's not a challenge, but the conversation still needs to be had. Because at least then, if I have you up on stage, I can get a live example of me and Andrew, whoever's up here, giving someone the tools they need to self-evaluate and engage in critical reasoning, and then that individual rejecting them outright in favor of what they want, in favor of their fifis, in favor of their feelings, of what they want to be true instead of the actual truth. So, yes, I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. I
just
your
figured you
milkshake.
should have something to wash them down with. That much bull is hard to swallow, but we could lubricate the process.
So, Ilcat, I will debate anybody who wants to come and debate me. I myself don't go running around challenging people to debates. I don't like, me personally, I feel that makes me feel very weird. If someone wants to debate me, they can challenge me, or they can message somebody and set it up, and I'll be there. I've shown up for every debate that I've been challenged to, but I don't like to to ingratiate myself into other people's lives. I don't want to sit here and go, hey, I'm going to debate you. Come and debate me. If you don't, you're a coward. I don't like putting people in that spot. People are busy. They have their own lives. I don't want to. I've always felt very cringe about assuming that if I challenge somebody, that there's some sort of obligation they have to show up. I will show up. Okay, because I have precious little things better to do with my time. I will show up because I enjoy doing it, but I don't like to ingratiate myself upon other people. So,
yeah. So Ilcat here is talking a big game. Meanwhile, they're sitting down there like an utter coward and saying they'll send other people. I'm sure those other people will totally care that you want them to come here. Yes, I'm sure those people care to come here. That's why they're here now, right? Because you have such great sway over these people. And you're not just blowing smoke up your own ass. That couldn't possibly be the case, could it?
Jinju, good to see you. New toy, maybe if he has the courage of his convictions to come up on stage.
Oh,
and
we got some member
got some milestone chats. That's right. Azo64 has been a member for 42 months. Thank you so much, Azo. Appreciate that support. You rock. Mystique Tina Jones has been a member for 52 months. Thank you so much, Mystique. You are coming up on the big 5-year mark. So I appreciate all that support, Tina. I could not have done any of this without you. All you channel members, I appreciate you so much. It is a brand new month. So if you are a channel member, get that milestone chat in. Let me know how long you've been a member of the Godless Army. Darth Gently has just become a new member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much, Darth. I appreciate that. You rock. Please enjoy all of the custom emojis I've made for you, and of course the channel badge for how long that will change. I modeled the channel badge after the expanding mind meme. So the longer you're a member here, the more your mind will expand. I know that joke's getting really old, but I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hey, Bill, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you hanging out. Turing Test 2 has been a member for 57 months. Thank you so much, Turing Test. Probably one of my oldest members. I know Rhoda No Less Name is up there as well. I'm pretty sure. I have to see Rodent's milestone chat. So thank you so much for that support, Turing Test 2. You rock. Oop. Ooh, people in the Discord.
I'm on it.
Kieran Dave is in the Discord. Kieran Dave, good to see you, bud. Oh, all good. Appreciate you popping. And Lightning Cloud, good to see you. If you're interested in joining the stage, the link is in the side chat. I've got it linked there. And C. Thelis has been a member, just became a member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much, C. Thelis. I appreciate that support. Oh, the trivia days. Yes, Azo. What's up, Jay?
Hello, is this working? Is this working? I'm just curious.
Yes, it's working, Jay.
Oh,
One second, bud. Hey,
yeah.
Lightning. We don't have to jump into theology if you like. I mean, if you have questions, or we have non-believers up here on the panel. If you're interested, like, hey, like if you have questions for us, or if you have evidence or an argument you want to present, but we don't have to dive into theology. We can just dive straight into like why you think a God exists. We can dive into that. So.
Isn't that automatically a theological conversation, though? I mean, really? Sorry.
I
don't mean to be pedantic, but I mean, it just seems like a theological conversation. But okay,
I don't hold that one does. But I mean, if you do, I don't know if you do. If you're a non-believer, that's one thing. But
yeah,
like I said, that's what we're doing here. We have the live open stage on YouTube, and the links in the side chat. So
yeah, and the only reason I asked whether or not this was working or not, because I'm doing this on my MacBook, and this has a tendency through Safari to be a little bit weird. So that's why I was like when I go live, or if even I've tried going live through Safari with my headset and everything.
Thank you, Bill.
It does not work.
I appreciate you, Bill. You have a great one. Bill's got to bounce out. And I think I missed somebody. Oh, thank you so much, Turing Test 2. I appreciate that.
Will JG show up again? Please tell me JG shows up again.
CT has become a member of the Godless Army. Thank you so much, CT. I appreciate that support. Enjoy all those custom emojis I made for you. As soon as we get enough channel members, we'll be able to unlock the PhD Tony, the Krakatony emoji. Looking forward to that.
Wait, you don't have it unlocked yet?
That was
Not
only
yet.
That was only a demo mode. What the heck?
Yeah,
exactly. Andrew.
Wow.
There is the one that Earl made for us.
It's not old yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not at all.
I like the game over at the end.
There's-
I was like, I thought it was more of like a move that would get the adversary down to like that one minuscule, that sliver of energy before the fatality. But no, apparently she turned it into the fatality move, so that's cool.
Yes, she did. And then of course I played with some of the sound stuff. I played with some of the media assets. So I played with some of the sound things.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
I would have done
wait. Okay, hold on. Where was that displayed from?
Media. I have media assets, and I can add sound bites. I have my own little StreamYard has its own soundboard, and you can add stuff. So there's like applause, or
Okay,
I can do.
I heard you testing it before you went live.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
Figured
did.
in there.
And then every time an apologist comes up on stage.
No, it should be faster than that. It should be.
And then if every time I school an apologist. So we have there's a soundboard that we can
I had the urge to go Carl Douglas there.
Oh, I figured you would have like something that was like Mortal Kombat, like a bang, 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 bang.
You
bang,
know,
bang,
I had
bang,
that same
bang.
thought as well. It's like, blah, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Or like, your soul is mine.
Test your might.
Finish him.
Yeah, the Krakatoni thing doesn't seem ominous enough. I think it needs to be darker. That whole serene background doesn't set it up quite right.
We need
The
some
clouds
lightning.
need to-
We need some. It needs to get
Yeah, the
dark. We need some
clouds need to-
lightning.
Yeah, the clouds need to darken. Like the scene in the background needs to darken a little bit more. Can't stay serene.
Oh, let's see here. And, Hosa the Demon is here. Good to see you, Hosa. Thanks so much for being here. Oh my God, no way. Yes, Hosa. Appreciate you being here. Hosa and I chatted a bit over on John Cohen's stream, which is a blast. And Hosa got me in the mood for a breakfast burrito. And so I had to like go into lurk mode while I went and got the wife and I some breakfast burritos from a nice little Mexican place near us. And apparently this just in from the news, the House of Representatives has voted 215 to 208 to restrict the orange piece of shit's ability to continue the Iran war without congressional approval.
Oh, shit. But it only passed by 215 to 208. That's pretty pathetic.
That is seriously pathetic. So, but at least there's still apparently some sane minds on the Hill.
Not much. Not if it's 215 to 208. That's not a good sign.
A CT, yes. John and Sean are fun times. I like those two. Those are good guys. Otto, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Same with Scientific Evidence, Scientific Origins. Thank you so much for being here as well. Yes, Tony got summoned Beetlejuice style. Flawless victory. Fatality.
I always like it when Tony comes on and I can actually smell the sulfur brewing. It's like, yep, here it comes. He starts thumping, and I'm like, yep, those are the seismic shocks. It's coming.
And PhD Tony, good to see you, bud. Thanks so much for being here.
There's the Krakatoni right there.
Oh,
but in his dormant state.
Illcat, no one is going to block probing time. You know why? Because probing time is awesome. Because probing time comes into the stage, comes into the live chat and says, it's probing time, and everybody probes. Okay, and it's awesome. So nobody's going to block probing time. At best, you will get timed out because all you've done is spam nonsense. So
who's probing time?
Probing time 666.
I don't think I've seen that person.
Right there.
I'm not looking at the live chat, so sorry.
It's on the video feed now.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm outside having a coffin nail, so I can't see it.
And Krager, good to see you. Krager Ovalupo, thanks so much for hanging out. Appreciate you hanging out. Let me see. I saw Otto. Lindsay's here. TP. Make sure I didn't miss anybody.
Yeah, Mystery Man had a milestone just up there a moment ago.
Where did I get it? Mystery Man, who's been a member of the Godless Army for 42 months. Thank you so much, Mystery Man. I appreciate you hanging out.
You simp. Sorry.
I think Rodent Noah's name might be one of the longest. I think he's up there. I'd like to see what his milestone. It's a brand new month, and you get a free one every month when you're a channel member. So I really want to see
42 months. How long have you been live for?
How long have I've had channel memberships going?
Yeah,
almost 5 years, or no, a little over 5 years, I think.
Oh wow.
Darth Gently with the Hail Satan, sign of the devil.
I just thought I'd come in now and just wait for the next loon to come in.
We're waiting. We've had some keyboard warriors. Had some people come into the Discord room. Hopefully to and I've been like putting out hooks to try and bring people in.
It's some strong bait.
Yeah, I know.
Needs more than chum in the water.
Okay, Sedona, you say you're here to discuss what the title said on the YouTube channel. Why believe in a God Bring your evidence. So, and you did not give 3 proofs. You gave 3 claims that you didn't back up, and we knocked all 3 of them down. Okay. So I don't want to hear your 3 claims anymore.
They gave 3 proofs or 3 claims?
It was 3 claims. It was Joan of Arc's testimony, the Fatima event, and the fact that they call it the God particle.
What?
I know, right?
Neat. Okay.
And Illcat says, if Christianity is false, why has it been around over 2,000 years and successful in spreading around the world? If Hinduism is false, why has it been around longer than Christianity and still spread around the world?
Why are there still Jews?
Why are there still Jews? Why are there still Muslims? Why are there still Zoroastrians?
Even worse, why are there still Andrews? I mean, come on. Illcat.
Oh, apparently Sedona is underage and a troll. So yeah.
Sedona's underage and a troll. Oh, well, that's neat. Underage trolls are the best trolls.
There. I'm gonna put out the hooks again. See if we can find science equals fake. Oh, that's just sad.
No, that's bad. I hope they enjoy their computer.
We got these rage bait channels that are on here. That's all they are. Trying to find, dude. Andrew, could you imagine if we got Not Fox on here?
I've never actually had an interaction. I'm not actually sure if I've heard them speak. I may have gone into that room maybe twice ever, because somehow I didn't actually even manage to muster a proper sense of masochism. I've only heard things about that particular individual, so I can't substantiate any of it, and it didn't sound appealing.
Yeah,
apparently
he's trash.
Apparently they're not up for any real kind of conversation, from what I've heard.
I'm willing to take flat earthers, and I hate talking to flat earthers.
Oh my god, flat earth is terrible.
I hate talking.
Look
to flat
what you're
earthers.
doing to JL people. This is on you.
Yeah,
you should know this.
Dude,
this is what you get for not following, 1 Peter 3:15. Okay, you're gonna make JL go after flat earthers.
Oh
wow!
You're tearing us apart, Lisa.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
Oh, hey, Mark.
I did not hit her. I did not.
Hey, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, hi, Mark. And does he even know where a vagina is located?
It's like up on her belly button. Karen Dick says, "What if I offer a 20 to the first person to make JL stutter?" It'd be interesting. I mean, somebody could try.
Stuttering doesn't mean necessarily defeat. It might just be you thrown a little bit, but that doesn't
I know, right? Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't reclaim or get back on track. It might be a little wobble in the front wheel, but it doesn't mean you're still not on the road.
Scott, good to see you. Believer science has a mountain of evidence to back it up. Your God's 0. True. What was that? Probing times. What did he say?
Darth Gently says the most popular things are usually bad. Oh, fuck off. Star Wars is perfectly fine.
Uh-oh. Matthew Wilkeen, good to see you. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, Illcat. If Islam is false, why is it the fastest growing major religion? Why is it outpacing Christianity? Why will it overtake Christianity? Why is Christianity literally dropping in the States? The statistics all show this. You can ignore the fact that the boat is sinking. You can continue playing while the ass end of the boat is going up in the air, but the boat is sinking, my friend.
Wait, the Illicat says this platform doesn't have enough viewers for me to call and debate with my biblical knowledge. If the channel grows, I might do it.
What? Doesn't have enough viewers? Wait, you talking about the live stream doesn't have viewers, or I don't have enough subscribers? Okay.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Is this kind of like a Jesus situation where Jesus couldn't do his magic because there was too many non-believers in the town?
Well, yeah, if Jesus didn't have 100 followers at one point to show that he made, what was it, 2 fish and 1, what was it, 1 fish or 2 loaves of bread? I always forget.
1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
I do like that though. I do like the fact that they've restricted themselves while being here. I'm like, I might come on there, but I need a bigger audience before I go on there to make an ass out of myself.
Yeah, Jesus was like, there's too many non-believers in this town. Too many non-believers. I can't do any magic if there's too many non-believers around.
This is just like George Dillman, for anybody who remembers some old school martial artists who had a supposed death touch martial art, which apparently didn't work when his opponent's tongue was in a particular alignment. Yeah, that's it.
What's the
That's
matter,
why.
Batman? Afraid
Oh,
of
he's
my
like that.
touch?
It's like the karate guy that's got to go to like breaking Jello bricks, crash, and then making sound effects, crash.
No, I told you, bring the special boards.
Bring the ones that are automatically that are still that are already.
Balsa, I told you, balsa, not the oak.
I'm looking for more from Felicat. This particular individual intrigues me. I'm not seeing anything more.
I don't think Ilkat has the courage of their convictions. So Ilkat's god girlfriend goes to another school. Thank you, Herman.
God.
If Christianity is true, why do the
Oh,
Star
that
Wars
was-
prequel and sequel
that
trilogies
was-
suck?
Oh, this one's funny. Why do atheists don't believe in God but breathe in God's air? There's an interesting claim.
Really?
Or
So
interesting,
Pedal?
question. Sorry.
So Pedal, I see you. You're more than welcome to click on the link. The link for anybody here is new, who's never been to the stage of reason. The link to come up on stage is pinned in the live chat. You're more than welcome to come up on. You do not have to be on camera. There are prompts on the screen if you're interested in any of those, or you can have if you have your own questions or whatever you want to, and however you want to engage. If you have evidence for your God or an argument you want to present, we really want to hear that. So feel free to come up on stage and defend your position.
We're very much intrigued with the idea of I breathe air, therefore God argument.
Right. Don't believe in God because so
they're begging the question.
That's begging the
question.
So this is so weird. So this is weird. So why do atheists don't believe in a God but breathing God's air? So we don't believe it because it's not justified to believe in one. There's no rational justification, and you're begging the question of your God's existence for the air to be God's. So, and Kieran Dave.
Woo. I'm on the real platform this time. Hi.
Yes, you are.
The Kieran Dave. Hi, Kieran Dave.
Hi. I don't want to hear to Bogart anything. I just was enjoying the show. And Sedona said that she wanted to show up and explain to me why I'm wrong for saying that Joan of Arc's testimony is evidence of aliens. Because I think it's better evidence of aliens than it is of God.
Neat.
Yeah, Sedona, roll on up.
I
You
think
said you wanted to meet me here.
I think
Sedona.
I think Joan of Arc was definitely a hot MILF back in the day.
Whew.
Sorry.
You know what they say about the crazy ones?
Oh yeah.
I think that you can grant almost any miracle. You could give the Shroud of Turin to the believer, and still, it's not very good evidence for God. In fact, the Shroud of Turin.
I'm not giving him anything.
I mean, I get that, but let me ask you a question. How many people were resurrected in the Bible? Quite a few, right?
Yeah, I mean, they had that whole group that was walking around and greeting their loved ones and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but then other people were
awesome.
Healed, right? There wasn't Jesus Thriller Hour.
I love Jesus Thriller Hour. That's my favorite chapter.
Sure.
What you talking about? Are you kidding?
Of all those people who were raised, though, how many emitted powerful blood space lasers that imprinted on nearby cloth? Why would we believe that the way that God's miraculous resurrecting and healing power works is by powerful blood lasers that imprint on cloth when, we never hear about it in the Bible? You would think someone would be like, holy smokes, look at Lazarus is back and I've got his whole body on his clothes. That's crazy, dude. That's his nipples right there.
That's only when the big guy's kid does it. Okay,
right?
Everybody knows.
Or Alien Ray.
Ilkat, this is not hard. How do you explain the Shroud of Turin? It was a art. It's an art installation. It was a
Or-
12th, what was it? A 13th century, 12th
If I
century.
can't, wait a minute. If I can't, then God is real. Talk about an argument for ignorance. But I like how Leo Phileas came in here and went, buoyancy requires gravitation. Way to go, Leo.
Good point. PH Tony says, I think Sedona is underage and should not be platformed. It's a good point.
Who is?
Sedona might be underage.
So might be. Ah, damn. Why are you getting so many underage people in here? What's going on?
I don't know. Leo Phileas, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you hanging out.
I got an idea for you, Sedona. So you're wondering about the Spear of Destiny, huh? So why was Hitler looking for that? I don't know. Maybe the same reason that the mere existence of a shroud you'd like to believe belonged to a guy you'd like to believe was somebody other than, just an apocalyptic death cult leader who ran into a bad time for mouthing off at the wrong time. Because it's a great symbol to rally a whole bunch of chumps around. And that would be the crew you roll with. That would be you.
Sedona, I think I now know that you are underage because you did not have to indicate that Hitler was a Nazi. So why was the Nazi Hitler? Yeah, we know who he is or who he was. We know who he was.
I was thinking about the painter, okay? Sorry.
Everybody knows he's the guy who saved the Indian village in that one very problematic film.
Say what you want about the H-Man. He did kill the H-Man.
Oh.
Say what you want about Hitler. He did kill Hitler.
It's amazing how you can be the hero and the villain in the same story.
I love it.
And you know what this means, right? We have to, in full OSHA compliance, reset the Godwin's law violation counter to 0 days.
Right.
To be fair, it was already at 0 days.
I know it came up like 5 or 6 times over on John Cohen's stream.
Only? That's a slow day.
Right, how do you explain the all Virgin Mary apparition worldwide? Are those people crazy?
What do I want to know is, can they explain why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Because
Can
it's
they explain why
delicious.
9 out of 10 doctors approve of Crest?
Well, they ended up mugging the 10th guy in the back alley. It was not
Right.
pretty. Just, trust
Well,
me, the toothpaste racket, that is where it's at.
My favorite existential question is, maybe she's born. Is it Maybelline, or maybe she's born with it, or is she born with it, or maybe anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting. Yeah, that's that same ill cat person. Yeah.
I mean, the real mystery is, where's the beef? That's the real mystery. For those old enough to remember the old Wendy's commercial.
But I don't know, what are they referring to? The Virgin Mary apparition worldwide. I don't know.
Just the number of people who have claimed to have seen the apparition of the Virgin Mary around the world.
Yeah, the beef was also hidden there too.
Wait, what does that have to do with? Well, yeah,
It was an all beef sausage.
Oh, gotcha. Because I know those. I know, if you're like Jill or something like that, that whole Roman Catholic Mary kind of thing, that's just necromancy.
Remember, here's that sage advice: avoid the Noid.
Oof.
Oh, the Noid. Oh my God, the Noid.
Yeah, the Noid.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, the nostalgia
Don.
train, folks.
Whoever came up with that fucking advertising scheme.
Back in the day of where everything had to have a mascot.
What's up with that?
Do you remember the Budweiser Penguins? What else would hang on a sec? Was the Budweiser Penguins, was that Budweiser?
The frogs.
Or Bud Light?
Oh, Ilkat says I'm a Roman Catholic. You're not a real Christian. Get out of here.
Jail's back on the Zima again.
Ilkat says I'm a Roman Catholic. Get out of here. We get some proddy in here, they're gonna shoot you down like you're yesterday's bad news. Get out of here.
See, Tesla's got a good one here. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
3. According to the owl, it's 3.
According to the owl, it's 3.
experimental evidence suggests.
We may actually have a oh, darn it.
It looks like it was the Noid that should have avoided me.
Uh-oh. I think the owl is a sample size lesson.
You got it, Tony.
Are you chumming the waters of Discord at this particular point in time, Jail, to look for other possible
I am.
candidates?
Trying.
Okay.
I've
I
got
figured you were.
a voice. I got a room opened up in the create your own area, the stage reason room, and then I put out the links to invite people up to see if anybody's willing to come up. We've had a few people come into the room, but nobody stuck around to actually come up on stage.
Gotcha. Ilkat says Catholicism is the fulfillment of Judaism. Not according to Judaism.
Oh, Hosa, that's awesome. I will definitely keep my eyes open. When you get that live, we'll pop over there and subscribe. So,
Oh boy, another one of you. I have my own channel too. Welcome to the hell. Jesus started the Catholic Church. First pope is Peter. Yes, we get the apostolic succession thing. Most of us are actually familiar with that. Even if we weren't raised as Catholics, we kind of understand at least a little bit of that whole apostolic succession and Peter being the first pope of Rome kind of thing.
There's got to be somebody. Maybe hell, why not? I'll put the link over there for Ask the Catholics. Even though they're just the worst. Well, I don't know who's worst. Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox, or Catholics. They're both
I think fundies are the worst. Catholics I can normally like Jim Bob. Him and I are decent friends and online here, but he's a devout Catholic, but he's not.
Wait, made by Jim Bob?
Yeah,
Catholic.
Or no, I'm sorry, Slim Jim. Slim Jim.
Okay, yeah, because Jim Bob's an ortho bro.
Jim Bob is ortho. Yeah, I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's Slim Jim.
Holy
Slim Jim
shit! What if I got Matt Slick up on this bitch?
Oh God, no! I would need to leave. I mean, you should do it. You should do it, but you don't understand.
What are you scared? What are you chicken? What's wrong with you?
No, I met him when he was starting out his career. He did.
It sounds like you're about to fanboy out. What the fuck?
No, it's the opposite. You don't understand. My
Oh.
path and Matt Slick's path keep crossing. He's much older than me, and like when he started his career, he was like speaking, and a whole bunch of his material was force fed to me at my super regressive Christian school. So like Matt Slick has been like messing with me my entire life, and then recently, he's always been living in my head rent free because of how I was scarred as a child.
So it'd be like meeting your soul, like some adversary that you always wanted to come across, or what?
Worse, because now I apologize for spreading this brain rot, but I have personally met and even hung out with the peer group for an online poster named Ayla. Now, I don't know if you know, and I had a huge falling out with them and lost a large part of my peer group because I didn't want to be a cultist. Again, I was already a Christian once, thanks. Do you know the relationship between those two actors?
No, I've never heard of the
daughter. It's Matt Slick's daughter.
Matt Slick's daughter.
Ella. Oh, that's.
I know some. Matt Slick. Matt Slick, who is really not as slick as he thinks he is. I've seen some of her videos, Kieran.
Depends which ones you're talking about. Yeah.
I mean, she's very eclectic. I'll give her that. You know,
is she flexible? I heard she's flexible.
It's weird. It's very weird. She's got weird stuff. She has got. I mean,
I thought you were talking about her porn.
Yeah, it's weird.
Is it?
Yes, it's some strange shit. Not from her OF. You know, not the stuff like that. But I found some videos here and there. So, but yeah, definitely some odd stuff that she's got going on.
Oh.
Anyways, if you think about the fact that I lost several friends because I didn't want to be an Ayla cultist,
you got to come up on stage. You trying to take why are you trying to take over my room on Discord? Oh, just got some girls in here wasting our time. All right. Sorry about that. Had people jump in and pop into the Discord thing, and they're just like they're kind of pointless.
Banning them is not a bad idea. They're just going to sit there and distract and, maybe lose legit callers. Better to eject.
I can do that.
Bye.
Oh, before I do that, I can.
Oh, good Lord, Cartesian.
Which Cartesian?
Oh no, we got okay. Yeah, we want Philbro. I'm trying to remember I don't remember if he was on the. I don't remember which side he plays though.
Anybody interested in? We're currently live over on YouTube. The link is in the side chat. So if you're interested in coming up on stage to talk about what you believe and why, you can click the link and join us.
Cartesian / Mason is a terrifying atheist debater. One of the greats, just so good at rapidly dismantling arguments from like a 90-degree angle from what everybody expects. He's really, really good at it. But then there's another Cartesian. Well, there's two I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay. I think this. Yeah. This may be the one you're referring to. I just remember the name, and it was in certain conversations that may have gone sideways. I'm not sure if I'm misattributing as to whether they're on the better side or the worse side. They may have just gone extra deep on something that really shouldn't have been.
Well, it does sound like anyone from that particular, what is it, KG? They run their own Discord of like, the Saiyan pride of debating. It's very funny. It's like a true warrior spirit to the notion of debate. They'll like call shows and just debate random positions to demonstrate their ability.
I just kind of
Sir Equinox, if I didn't say hi to you, good to see you. But I just have this one question. Ilcat in the live chat. Ilcat, are you going to be coming up on stage or not?
I'm thinking no.
Can smell the fear from here.
Well, he doesn't have enough viewers, but they're going to still stay here.
Yeah.
So instead of going somewhere where they might possibly get more audience, they're not. They're staying here.
Because their time is valuable, but not valuable enough to leave.
Correct. Thank you, Andrew.
So did he say no? I see that Krager said he said no. It's far too cowardly. Oh, Tony. Good to see you, Tony.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good, doing good.
I just had to pop
Hey, Tony.
in. Hi. Nice to see everybody. I hope you're all well.
Well, as a subjective
Doing good, and happy early birthday to you.
Oh, somebody leaked this information. Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Australian state secrets. PhD Tony is old as fuck.
Absolutely.
Wait, is your birthday sometime this month?
It's tomorrow my time.
Oh, tomorrow your time. Okay. My birthday is also sometime this month, but I will not give it out.
Right. The reason I popped in is you mentioned sort of attacking arguments from 90 degrees, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't cane that guy on Saturday your time, who came up with the stupid "if someone doesn't think the sky is blue." The sky is blue is not an axiom, right? We were talking to remind you of the context. We were talking about he claimed that he could demonstrate that God exists from shared axioms, and then he said, "Well, if I encounter somebody who doesn't think the sky is blue, I can't do much about that." But the sky is blue is not an axiom. The definition of blue.
Well, how do shared axioms necessarily follow to a God existing?
Well, that was my challenge to him, right? My challenge to him was, can you from axioms that you share with us, that you share with JL, that you share with me, can you get to God exists? And he got as far as trying to assert that morality is absolute. That morality is objective.
Oh.
Objective or absolute objective? Which
objective.
Oh, so he holds to moral realism. Okay.
Yes. And JL just wasn't accepting that. And I have to say, I used to have some sympathy for the morality is objective argument. But JL has, unknowingly, watching JL in action has changed my opinion on that. JL has proselytized me.
You mean morality as like moral realism?
Yeah, I was a moral realist. In essence,
there's a lot of philosophers that right now, according to that hold to moral realism, but it's
I think it's
theistic issues.
I think it's a defensible position. We treat murder as though it is absolutely wrong, as though it is objectively wrong.
Well, hang on a second. And it's good to hear, Tony. There's a problem with that. Yes, a good number of philosophers out there do hold to moral realism. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that it is not defensible because it always winds up referencing a stance. No matter what you try to cite, it always winds up referencing a stance and an evaluation that is required to be made. Murder is, as I've posited out before, murder is a legal term that is already baked into the definition that it is unjustified. So the question is, in regards to morality, as to before the evaluation is made, is the statement homicide is objectively immoral? Would be the question, because the action itself cannot have the evaluation baked into it as a determiner.
And an objective position isn't necessarily an absolute position. So,
well, I mean, it would be mind stance independently true, right?
Well, either way, to some extent, but from what I read, like if you're arguing that there's an absolute objective morality. Yeah, it's really kind of weird. From what I was reading on it the other day, it's kind of weird to kind of parse the difference, because you get these people that say, well, there's objective morality, and then there's people who claim that, well, there's absolute objective morality.
Yeah.
In which case that you have this absolute, where absolute objective morality would mean that lying is wrong in any way, shape, or form. And then you could have a position under objective morality where, you can lie if it's in the defense of the innocent. And that's not necessarily, that's still within lines of objective morality, but it's obviously not in the lines of absolute, whether or not that moral position is an absolute, because an absolute moral claim would be, killing would be wrong in all times and places, right?
Yeah, so that there is no such thing as justifiable homicide.
Yeah. So
correct. Under absolute. Yeah, possibly under absolute morality, there wouldn't be there wouldn't necessarily be a justified homicide. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know though. I think it's tough to say that every single moral realist stance invokes a stance. A lot of them are trying to generate facts that are about all stances. In other words, stances are part of a common category for which the following things are true. And I think in general, we would say that even if the category can only exist within minds, and we're talking about actions that, as far as we know, only agents can take, right? And so far, that's basically humans and some particular animals. We would still be able to make an objective claim about those things, right? Like, for example, all minds being, quintessentially the mind thing, they're rooted in the physical. We have no examples of that, right? Now, that fact. Well, I mean, that statement is either true or false, depending on your metaphysics, but it is a objective thing, right? If you were to accept it, it would be they all exist,
that's an is. Yeah, that's an is.
Yeah, the evaluation as to whether or not an action in and of itself, because you have actions in and of themselves to be actions in vacuums. So like there would not be any like classification of the action or evaluation of the action. You simply have the action itself. So like theft would not, that's an evaluation in order to, because the action itself is simply taking an object. That's like taking an object. That's the action. Now there's other like mitigating, there's other like circumstances that go into that to help you define what that is. So like, what is stealing specifically? Is it like, and then you have to go on to, so it's about how much information one has, and then using that information to make the evaluation. And that depends upon their stance, because you can have one person saying that theft is always wrong 100% all the time. There are no mitigating circumstances. And then another person will say, wait, to steal food to feed a child is not the theft itself is not an immoral act, because you are feeding a child that is starving to death. So you are saving a life by committing this other action. So it is not inherently immoral. So, but the disagreement right there is based upon what is informing the stance. And even then, it could be that a person will hold that the action is immoral because they're not aware of what the motivation is. So they'll say, "Oh, it's immoral." Then they find out what the motivation is, and then all of a sudden they switch their position. Oh, wait, no, then that's permissible because they're saving a life. So they're doing that to save life. So the punishment should not be as extreme. And so this constant like seesaw effect that is basically the result of the context that is necessary in order to perform the evaluation of the physical action itself, is why these evaluations themselves are entirely mind dependent. So the moral distinctions, or what we'd say like the ethical valuations, are the things that bridge the is and the ought. Like what is the state of affairs and what ought we do in response to that? And the bridge there is
whether or not that proposition, whether an ought proposition can be evaluated as being just as have the same veracity as an is proposition. Yeah.
I think though that you could sort of like, for example, I think that maybe the arguments are maybe a little bit stronger than folks give them credit for, because like the goal of them oftentimes is to lay out statements that are like sort of categorically true that then motivate action, because if they're categorically true, then you ought to do them, right? Because reasons responsive.
Depending upon whether or not you think that the goal that's intended, because the goal acts as the referent. So like what you
for all
ought
goals,
to do.
though.
Okay, so but are there any can you identify any of them that are universal?
Sure. Yeah, and I think I know what JL's referring to here, because we could even assess that certain things that happen within states of affairs, we could describe, like if I put a person's arm in a vice and I break their arm with a vice, we can all say, well, yeah, we can describe that with certain propositions that demonstrate that where those propositions would comport to that particular action. But the problem is whether or not the ought is a true claim. And that's where the morality kind of, in my opinion, that's where it's like, well, yeah, you have this thing that occurs, and we understand that, yes, there's certain things that can cause harm to human beings that we understand that can cause them pain. But then when it comes to a proposition as to whether or not it ought to occur or ought not to occur, that's where that is ought distinction becomes problematic, because it's like, well, it can happen or it can't happen, meaning, or it can happen or it won't happen, meaning that there's it just won't take place, but it still could happen. But the ought, the duty, or whether or not someone should or shouldn't do it is interesting. So
I think the background that I have in developmental psychology and behavioral psychology and child psychology, once you've read enough case studies and you've seen that you've seen human behavior especially in developing children who have had no authority whatsoever, that they've had nothing to condition them other than the direct physical consequences of their actions. Like the children, by and large, if you saw them behaving when they have no authoritative structure over their behavior, are they're almost indistinguishable from psychopaths. And it's only because we're not calling them psychopaths, but they are fundamentally operating on modes of like whatever their preferences are, whatever makes them feel good, whatever makes them hurt, whatever they want, whatever they don't want at the time. And so it is because of the influence of conditioning within society. And I think that a lot of philosophers take it for granted just how ingrained it is for adults to condition their children to operate a specific way within a specific dynamic, whether it be the family unit or whether it be the family unit and the society together, or the society in and of itself, whichever ones the family values overall. You can raise children to be complete and total jingoistic psychos who put the nation above all things, or you can raise them to be family first, family always, to the limitation of all other things, or you can, however you do it. But this is all conditioning that goes into it. And when you see that conditioning in play, and you have the case that you have the sample sizes of all these different groups within the world, then you see like children acted this way when there is no authoritative structure and they only have themselves and their experiences to learn from.
Yeah,
and
I think
see
that's
that the behaviors continuous are like borderline psychopathic.
Yeah, I think that's where we start kind of getting into the nuanced distinction between morality in and of itself and deontology, which is like moral duties and obligations, and then trying to basically suss the nuanced difference between the two.
What we do see is that cooperative actions are what we would call like the most like more moral actions than like selfish actions, that these come out as a result of our evolution as a social species, is that our natural capacity for empathy is what inspires certain, like, what you could say is cooperative action or even altruistic action to a degree, altruistic with an asterisk.
Isn't that kind of like what I think that's what T-Jump kind of argues for.
T-Jump argues special moral force.
So we need to make a point here, right?
What's up?
So, JL, you were talking about kids. Kids don't have fully formed brains.
Right.
Right. So, one of the, brains don't reach full maturity for a while. So there's a question over whether or not kids are capable of independently recognizing the advantages of long-term social cooperation. So I think bringing sort of the moral unawareness of children into it and saying, look, this is learned behavior. And I don't think it's learned behavior so much. It's behavior that only really becomes obviously beneficial once you acquire a certain amount of object permanence, long-term thinking, and strategic capacity that kids just don't have.
Yeah, and I also think that, dovetailing on that, I think that there are objective facts that we may not be aware of without sufficient information, right? Like that's sort of the thing. So just because we may have to work at culturally produce or even biologically evolve moral rules, that doesn't mean that they're not informed by some sort of underlying fact of the matter about different moral things.
Like a reality that underlies it. Yeah.
It could, that's just obviously possible, right? In the same sense that many of the things that biology does are informed by sort of underlying functional / structural mathematical limitations, right? There's a reason that certain constants show up lots of the time in biology. It's because that's the right number to use. And it just so happens that that number has a correspondence with the particular properties in reality that we want for winding a circle in a certain way to produce a pattern of leaves, right? It's definitely a subjective stance, and it was not something that all plants had. They had to develop it over time. Evolution tracked towards the optimal value.
But hold on. But let me just throw this out there. For any of the Christians that are in the live chat, even if we differ on moral objective, like moral realism or moral subjectivism or cultural relativism or whatever, you can be a moral realist and not believe a God to exist.
This is true.
Just to throw it out there. Just want to throw that out there as a caveat. There's lots of philosophers out there that hold to moral realism, and they are not believers in a God, or gods. Just throwing that out
most philosophers agree that Christianity is a subjectively moral system. You have a specific stance that you hold as the most important stance. That's God's stance. According to the Bible, all morality is what God says it is, and God is a mind. That's just what these words mean. So end of the story. There's no objective morality for Christians.
I think
weird
it's
that they bring it up.
I can't remember who brings it out, but if morality were in fact, if like moral if moral distinctions were in fact objectively true, like mind stance independently true, they would be that way even if a god did exist. Like it would be the god itself, like referencing something external of itself, and then imparting that knowledge down to human beings. I don't see what that is. Like what kind of substrate is existing beyond the god that requires the god to operate a certain way. So it's like, oh, it's like the god's like, oh yeah, I'm doing, this thing is good because this external thing says it's good, and even the god has to operate by that metric. But yeah, I'm a moral anti-realist. These things are subjective. These things are entirely stance dependent.
I've gotten to the point of almost being like I'm almost in the realm of like some kind of moral nihilism, but given the fact that I'm still kind of like looking into it, I think I still kind of side with like you, JL, where I'm more of a moral anti-realist. But
I think that functionally the distinction between the two stances isn't that large, and I find JL's arguments reasonably persuasive. But I will concede I'm not a professional philosopher nor a trained philosopher. I did two.
Yeah, nobody here is, as far as I know.
Nope. But I do want to ask a question about Leophilius, because he seems very well versed in philosophy and in cosmology. So I'm just wondering what his training background is.
Oh, he's done kind of his own thing. If I remember,
because I'm absolutely not a philosopher. And I have very limited patience.
I think it's fair to say that Leo's not a classically trained philosopher either. He's just read a lot on this kind of stuff. So whatever his positions are is based on what he's read. But I don't think he's like classically trained or like scholastically trained as a philosopher. Okay,
I was just curious because like when it gets into heavy duty philosophy,
but he's quite. But he is quite.
Listening to you guys.
He is very knowledgeable as a communicator when it comes to some of these topics. So I don't have a problem with even deferring to some of his acumen when it comes to it.
No, he's clearly very thoughtful and very well read. I just find myself sort of at a loss because you guys all have a vast amount of philosophical training, and I always go. I always ask boring questions like. What's the data?
I'm trying.
And then I yell at people.
I picked a lot of this stuff up from reading like just conversations that I had with people when I first started in on these conversations back in like 2017, and then stuff that I gleaned along the way from picking up from different articles and stuff. And when it comes to moral arguments, to me, I always get lost in the weeds when it comes to moral arguments, like whether or not they're objective, there's some kind of reality to object to moral claims and stuff like that. I always get lost in the weeds when it comes to them because sometimes I just don't give a shit. It's like, yeah, I get it. We have certain preferences. We exist in a world and there's things that happen. And then we kind of go, yeah, should we do that? There's things that we can do. And then if we do those things, they can hurt people. So should it happen? No, it shouldn't. Should the opposite happen? Because it's not even just the bad. It's also whether or not we should do the moral good thing, right? Whether or not we should prevent all crime. These kind of things. This is like a question that I get into with like Christians where I ask the question about whether or not they're walking down the street and they witness a person and the guy's about to do an assault on a woman, and you sit there and you watch it and then ask the moral questions. Is it morally good to stand there and just watch? Is it morally good to just call for help? Is it morally good to just walk away? When does it become which aspect of the moral position becomes the good and which one becomes the bad, and which part of the indifference becomes a good? Can you just be completely indifferent to it and that's good?
I'm not sure if you guys watch much of Josh Johnson's comedy material, if you know who that is. He's a sometime host of The Daily Show.
I know who Josh Johnson, the young black guy. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. He does these stand-up routines and puts them out on YouTube weekly. And yesterday's episode was a an absolutely hilarious description of the moral conundrum behind holding a lift door open for somebody. and they're rather far away, and then they trip, and then they sort of ask for help, and
then whether or not you should step out of the elevator to help them up.
Yes, yeah, that's
yeah,
that's right. And it's actually just completely hilarious. But he constructs this entire moral dilemma over it, like, you know, but we both lose the lift, like,
yeah.
So
is it good for them? Was it good for them to ask for help if I lose my spot, to be able to use the elevator, because ought they refuse my position to be able to go up in the elevator just because of their position? Like, what the hell? What's going on?
And did I cause them to trip by getting them to speed up? Like, you know, because they started walking a little bit faster. It's absolutely hilarious.
And what about the harm that might possibly, if something malfunctions with the door and it harms my arm? Who's to morally blame for the harm that caused me when I tried to block the door to keep it open for the person that was rushing? Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Anyway, I highly recommend it to anybody who likes his sense of humor. He is absolutely hilarious.
That sounds like the one I did, only it didn't involve an elevator. It involved something far worse.
Right.
I have a personal liking for Jimmy Carr's moral litmus test. Would you club 2 baby seals to save a whale?
Just like an underwater trolley problem.
Andrew, it's like Sean Locke. Well, it's like a trolley dash. I was doing it with
You know, I have the solution for all the trolley problems, but you might not like how they end.
No, his was a trolley dash.
This reminded me.
We may see some compunctions being exhibited.
Well, this reminded me very much of Monty Python's Flying Circus with Dennis Moore. Dennis Moore, the Robin Hood highwayman who was taking from the rich and giving to the poor, but then suddenly figuring out that wealth redistribution was far more difficult than he initially imagined. He's like, wait, this so you should get this, and then this, and so he's sitting there like negotiating with all those people he's stolen from, the people he wants to give it to in a group. And he's like, okay, this is over here, and this, you know, and then
I think the whale and 2 seals problem is funny because it brings up like one thing that I think is sort of the worst possible outcome for everyone in this debate, which is there are probably a lot of questions that we wish that there were moral facts or an obvious moral answer about, and there isn't one. There isn't even one consistent strategy that could possibly hit that category of problem. And so that is even worse than sort of the moral subjectivist, because it implies that, like, the moral subjectivism implies that, like, you could have like one really, really great person who has a subjective stance that sort of ticks all the boxes, like this sort of imaginary morally perfect person whose subjective stance just happens to agree with every other possible stance. But there's this sort of this specter of a category of problem for which there is no good solution. You literally can't make a moral decision. Everybody, like, someone will always be mad at you, right? And then there's also the specter of like potentially doing the correct thing, even the moral thing, might damage other people enough that they're mad at you, even if it was the moral thing from your perspective to do. So I think it's like there's no like free lunch for any stance in this. In the same way that, like, you know, Christians don't get to claim, oh, well, I'm morally objective and therefore I'm covered. That wouldn't fix it either, right?
But
like everybody's got
to
this
slip something into
problem.
that, though. See, you kind of poison it with the thought that, somebody being mad at you was the consequence, and as if that's supposed to actually affect the moral calculus there.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that, like, you could have a moral action that is moral from your perspective. You could be like anti-moral, right? In the sense that you're always acting in a way that's perfectly moral to your stance, and literally no one else agrees with. And similarly, you could you could imagine these things. There probably doesn't exist such an extreme. There probably aren't like perfect or maximally imperfect stances to take. Because that would imply that there is some sort of through line. And if there is some sort of through line, that would be the objective truth. right? So like I don't really know. I think it's really hard to talk about these.
You're
and end up with
confusing.
consistency.
You're confusing the shit out of me right now.
I like what Matthew Mulcahy says here. It's like depends upon the whale, but most likely, yeah. If the whale's a dick, then
If the whale's a dick.
if the whale's a dick, then I think the decision is obvious. And I like what Clive Wells just cuts right to the chase. If you kill everyone else, there's no one to be mad at you.
Yes,
helps
that's true, but also no one to cook supper or wash your clothes. So, I mean, do you really want to live in a world without help?
Maybe morality is just the friends we made along the way.
I used to like it. I used to like it when I get into like these deep moral conversations. It's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, look at my goddamn icon.
Or this one's me. Morality is the people we prefer to keep with us along the way. There you go.
Who said that?
No, I'm positing that. It's like because it was like the whole joke is like, the real treasure was the friends we made along the way. It's like, well, what if morality is just the people we prefer to be with us along the way? Because it comes down to your preferences, comes down to your stance references, those individuals. So you evaluate the individual that's around you, and if they meet whatever preferences you have regarding your stances, then that's a person you want to have as a friend.
JL, I find out over time everybody's just a disappointment to me, so that really doesn't help me at all.
Can I just say that the chat are taking this seals versus whales question too?
Oh my God! Here we go.
Scream. My work here is done.
Jimmy Carr was just trying to be fucking funny. That's what he does, and he succeeds.
Nobody said he was the pinnacle of philosophy, dude. No one.
No, it's actually brilliant calculus because it shows exactly how relative everything is.
Exactly,
and it brings it down to the level of horror you're willing to live with.
Yes,
because that's a perfect example of no good situation.
Yes.
I told you, Andrew, it's the same thing as like I said before. How normative are you willing to be?
Okay, by the way, normativity does not actually translate to objectivity. So much like wiping out all the people who disagree with you, just because it's universal now, I mean, look at all the bodies you left behind to make it universal, okay? I mean, seriously,
Andrew,
I don't want everybody to agree. That's what genocide is.
But that's the most utilitarian. That's the most utilitarian because now you're the only person and you have all the food.
Andrew, I'm calling Andrew Wilson up. He's gonna love where you're going with this.
Oh,
you're empowering my megalomania. Okay, that is not healthy. Bad.
Have you heard about the shrimp people? The shrimp hypothesis. Have you heard about the shrimp hypothesis that like the most moral thing to do if you want to maximize happiness is keep the largest number of shrimp alive as possible in like the most minimal state of happiness possible? Like you want, because shrimp can live in it's one of the most densely animals that can live in the highest density of population that we're aware of. You should replace the entire world with miserable shrimp because in aggregate that will be more happiness. You got to be out there krill maximizing, my friends. That's the real moral truth.
But the point I wanted to make, before we jumped into all of this, was that the cretin who was arguing about this turned around and said that he could prove God from shared axioms, got to his axiom that morality is objective, and then JL just did his thing. And I said, so you can't prove that God is real. And he's gone, well, yeah, I didn't, it's like encountering somebody who says, the sky isn't blue. And it didn't occur to me until later, but the sky is blue is not a fucking axiom. It's something that can be tested and constructed. So if you're, you can, I just felt so unhappy with myself that I didn't point out that his immediate go-to example, and he was a science denier, so if anyone was saying the sky wasn't blue, it was fucking him. It was he was looking at something that wasn't an axiom, that's something that could be logically structured, something that could be attacked and justified. And you guys have made me aware that there's a lot more depth to this conversation about morality as objective or subjective. But I kind of think of it as an axiom to some extent, in that both people can consider themselves justified in cleaving to either position.
Were they trying to push the idea that what we see is what we get because what we see is what we get? Is that what they were trying to push?
No, they were
Like
trying
this
to
idea-
argue that they were
like
trying
this
to
idea-
argue that morality is absolute because God creates morality, and therefore because morality is absolute, therefore God exists.
That doesn't even make sense. God creates morality. What? It's not even operating with the definition of what morality actually is. Like, what do you mean creates? There's the ability to okay.
So a mind created it.
No. I mean, morality is literally just the ability to make moral distinctions. It makes no statements as to what is or is not moral and immoral. If an individual has the ability to differentiate, to themselves differentiate between things that they determine to be right and wrong or good and bad or moral and immoral, whatever they call them, if they have the capacity to differentiate between these things, that is a person who has morality. That is a person who's capable of moral distinctions. They have a moral framework. So that's what morality is referencing, just the capacity to do these things. Whether or not the evaluations are equal amongst everybody or are identical amongst everybody, which they are not, but there is much overlap between moral distinctions. It's just and we then you're going to get down into like justification, like how justified of an action, and how justified can an action be, or do we agree on justification, or the limits of justification of what constitutes justification. So, and it's going through that kind of trial and error of figuring out where we all lie, or where the majority of people lie, is how we determine what our legal system looks like.
Oh, I have a way of sussing that out. If God is like the ultimate video game creator, then yeah, then one could say that he's creating morality within the video game that is ultimate reality in the game, as a game that he's making. But then you have to ask yourself, what's the conceptualize when we understand the way that video game creators create video games, they're making things based on what they know. So where is God getting this idea of utilizing this idea of morality within the game that's his creation, that is reality, and then going from there? Does anybody get that?
Well, you just recursed basically.
God is Rockstar,
Yes,
and the world is the God is Rockstar, and the world is GTA 5.
Correct.
But in the end, why were those the determinations that God made when he made the program?
Well, no,
it comes down to whether morality
the idea is that's a rough example, but what JL pointed out is exactly what my analogy was, is like, imagine a God creating an entire reality, right? So God is the necessary thing that gives, he has to create the entire reality. So this is like someone creating a video game. They create the entire environment, and everything that happens within that video game is up to that video game designer. So the only way you have these things within this particular video game is because the video game creator knows how to implement it within that system, or he's thought of it, he's conceptualized it, and he can apply it to that particular system or to that particular environment.
I wish
you're going to run into an internal versus external problem then. See, because at that point he also created all the characters who have their own evaluation system.
Correct.
So
that's
at that point.
Yes,
now
it goes to heart.
The question is what is the referent? What is morality as a referent?
It's just a part of the system.
Wait, hold on. Wait, can you see it? Tony, can you see it?
Yeah, it becomes
right
a problem
there,
when
on my
it comes
shelf. Tony, it's morality. It's sitting right there.
That's not a very fair.
Hey, what were you going to say, Karen?
Oh, I don't think that is very fair. But I think that I really wish I got to talk to theists who use that argument, because I've made a video game before. I helped a friend publish, and I just want to say, like,
no. My argument, the ones that have given me the argument about the video game, I was the one that came up with the video game analogy so that I could show them how God necessarily has to create evil.
I mean, evil aside, like, people imagine that video game creators have all these powers, but like, there's a bunch. Like, let's say I go and I make the JL Bridge the Divide slasher horror video game. I can't, like, in that video game make math work differently than it does. I can't
But this-
actually do that. I
Well,
could like
that's a neat-
I could have
but that's a
numbers
neat trick,
pop
right?
up. Yeah, I can't make like the law of non-contradiction incorrect. There's a bunch of stuff I can't do. I'm fully constrained in a whole bunch of ways, and it's like, and it's not clear that God would actually sit in a different relationship.
Didn't
to
you know?
me.
Didn't you know that when God created the first Grand Theft Auto, there was a way to solve how to find a squared circle? Sorry.
Okay, God just put it out there. The squared circle module. Squared circle.
Okay. What you have to do is you have to realize this is some advanced programming. Okay, so this is where you have to dip into the use of illogical operators. So x equals maybe y, or
Correct.
sometimes z.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we don't ask.
Oh, dude,
how
this
it
guy,
resolves. Okay?
this guy is all over the map, baby.
Illogical operators.
Pardon me, my
My-
time has expired. I got to go. It was great hanging out. Bye.
Oh, thank you, Kieran. I appreciate it,
Yeah,
bud.
see you, Karen.
Have a good one.
My big kicker on that is that when it comes down to, like, you know, in the God concept, is that evil, with things that are described as being evil, like if you were to take like the set of actions in that itself, is I've always held that evil doesn't occur within a vacuum. Is that an action takes place, and then whether or not that action is evaluated as being evil, whatever the agent is doing the evaluation, is that the action in and of itself did not occur within a vacuum. Is that there are circumstances that led to the justification of an action, and that action is determined to be evil by people who are evaluating external of it. So that means that evil, for an action to be evil, requires circumstances that facilitate its existence, that allow it to be logically possible.
Yeah, but
those circumstances are circumstances that are literally baked into the system. So if the God exists and the God created a system, then all of the circumstances that allow for the logical possibility of evil exist because that entity wants them to exist.
yes,
Because they don't have to exist, but apparently the God wants them to. Because
correct.
and I know that there's some believers that have a real problem with this, so I'll break it down as simply as I can. If the God exists separate from everything else, like the God, like the categories that I talk about, you have the God set and you have the not God set. If the God doesn't reference anything external of itself, if it is the ultimate arbiter of that which is, you know, metaphysically, the metaphysical ontology of everything that's not itself, then whatever it establishes as being in the system itself, it does because it wants it to be that way, not because it must. So you have the God, the God exists. You say the God exists and the God does an action. So the God can either do an action or not do an action.
Correct.
The question then becomes, why does God do an action? Well, does God have to do an action? Is there something that literally declares that God must do X? No, because you're defining God as being ultimate. So if God does a thing, it either does it because it must,
And possibly removing its free will if you think that God has free will.
exactly. It either does it because it must, or it does it because it wants to. It's
would make
one
it
or the
contingent.
other. There's no in between. This is a true dichotomy. If it's literally God does an action, it's because it had to or because it wanted to. Because if it didn't want to, then it wouldn't do it. So if God doesn't do a thing, it doesn't do it because it doesn't want to do it. And if it does a thing, it does it because it wants to do it. Because there is no must. God doesn't have to do anything.
Yes.
So given that statement and the circumstances that allow for the logical possibility of evil actions and outcomes, especially evil by the lights of the God itself, the fact that the circumstances exist, they exist solely because the God wants them to. If the God is defined as omnibenevolent or all loving or all good or whatever, how can you justify an omnibenevolent entity desiring the existence of the circumstances that allow for evil by its own metric?
Yeah,
That
jail.
doesn't track.
You just, and that is the core of my video game hypothesis argument for God being the ultimate video game creator.
No, but at that point, that's where they usually try to equate the idea that it isn't a metric because it's whatever is in accord with God, which means whatever God does is good by definition.
Yes, because it's part of his.
So it is not. So it is no
being.
longer a metric. It is merely a description of the source of the action.
Correct.
But in
That's
doing
possible.
that, in doing that, the term good loses all meaning because
now you're just getting picky.
Well, yeah, because I mean, is the God good?
I agree.
Is the God entity good because its nature aligns with an external standard of goodness, or is it simply good because it declared itself as good? Like, what are we doing here?
Oh, it's not about the declaring; it's just the fact that it is.
Okay, then I say.
I never said we were going to get to
Andrew,
semantic
Andrew,
Right, then I say, okay, so
Value.
if the God is good, if God equals good, good equals God,
Jail.
God equals God,
Jail.
it's tautologically vacuous.
Jail.
But then I
No,
say,
jail.
Yes.
they say,
Just-
correct.
no,
then
but
I
jail,
say, they say
jail,
their God
Andrew.
is good, then I say, by whose metric is the God good?
no,
They say by
no
its
Jail,
own
that's
metric.
Andrew-
Stop
what
using the M
Andrew's
word.
But what
No
Andrew's
metric.
bringing up is the position of classical theists when they talk about God as being where morality is ontologically grounded in God's being.
Okay. I got a morality question for you, JL.
Huh.
Okay. Aliens 2 was Ripley killing the xenomorph queen good?
In the context of what was happening, yes. That would
Okay,
say
now-
that's
hang
a-
on.
What?
That's a very anthropocentric perspective.
Tony,
right?
don't
good.
don't interrupt.
Do it.
Don't
No.
interrupt.
No.
No.
The context is
wanna
hang
entertain
on a
this
sec.
before my
The
answer.
context is important here. Was Ripley taking out the alien queen the moral action? And the answer is yes, if you understand the xenomorph itself. The xenomorph, while a living organism, is effectively a weapon of mass destruction, is what the xenomorph is. So it's effectively a sentient, intelligent weapon of mass destruction. And Ripley taking that out was the more moral action because taking it out saves the most lives. So from a utilitarian perspective,
But
it is the most moral.
But
Jail, is that
clearly not xenomorph lives, right?
But hold on.
Well,
but
no,
jail,
hang on a
You
sec.
made a
Your evaluation.
qualitative judgment there that xenomorph lives are worth less than other lives.
No. But Jail's evaluation seemed to be based on something that he understands about xenomorphs that may have not been understood by Ripley and those individuals.
Ripley knew
dealing
that.
with
No,
the xenomorph.
Ripley knew that. Ripley had that information because she said, Ripley straight up said, if those colonists found those eggs, okay, we cannot allow that to happen, and we cannot allow the infection to take place. And if it does take place, we cannot allow it to get back to Earth. We take off, we nuke the site from orbit. Only way to be sure. That's it. They cannot be allowed to get back to Earth.
But hang on. You can't say it's moral. You can only say surely this
Tony,
is surely you're self-defeating here.
Tony's going to be a
in the
xenomorph
sense that-
apologist here in a moment.
He's like,
you
okay,
can't
how
say-
many xenomorph lives matters are we going to get in the fucking chat?
Sorry,
So-
Tony. It was
so-
just coming down the tracks, dude. I had to
You
call
know-
it out as I saw it.
So
Ripley
but your
was
argument is
committing
self-defeating. Your argument is self-defeating if you maintain that morality is subjective. So yes, Ripley can say that it was a moral thing to do. Newt can say Newton, Bishop, and what is it, Higgs?
Hicks.
Hicks can say it was moral, but the xenomorph, being an intelligent agent, can come to a different conclusion.
I think you're giving the xenomorphs way too credit at this particular
You're
point.
asserting from your perspective that it was a moral thing, but you're asserting that as though it's an absolute.
No,
Right.
I'm not. I wanted to make that clear. It
Right.
is my subjective determination that Ripley's action was the most moral. Now,
Yeah,
I
he
will
didn't say
say
an
her
absolute.
action.
An absolute would have been it couldn't be the case, and it'd have to be that case in all shapes.
Now, I suspected we were going to go there.
Leophilius. Yeah, nobody cares what the xenomorph thinks.
Nope. I'm sure the xenomorph might beg to differ on that, but I admire Tony taking up the mantle of devil's advocate. Thank you, sir. But
well, the queen
JL,
did seem very. The
hold on,
queen
JL.
seemed very upset when Ripley set her eggs on fire. So
He watched the new
Well,
Alien
okay,
show
so
on FX.
here's the kicker. Now, Ripley killed the xenomorph by opening up the bay doors, okay, forcing it to get sucked out into space
and blowing it out into space.
So
right? Yeah.
technically, you just admitted to good existing in a vacuum.
Get the fuck
Are you
out
kidding?
of here, man. What are you
Are you
doing?
fucking kidding, Andrew?
Checkmate.
He's fucking around.
Checkmate.
Well, and technically, I will say this: it was, and I hold subjectively that it was the more moral action. The way Ripley went about it, though, is problematic because technically, she did blow it out into space, but we know that xenomorphs, now probably Ripley might not have known this, but xenomorphs can survive in space. They go into a state of dormancy until they land somewhere, and they can survive re-entry because their armor is hard enough. Their natural exoskeleton is hard enough to survive re-entry. So effectively, she kind of
was that established
in the comics.
And Romulus.
And so, and
Alien Romulus.
The issue being
but
this.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the armor is strong enough that it maintains its integrity. The inside of the fucking thing is cooked. If flamethrowers are effective weapons against xenomorphs, then by the time they may be fully intact by the time they get to the surface, they're going to be cooked and intact.
But Tony, in Alien Romulus, the one that Ripley blew out into space in the first Alien, they pick it up and they bring it aboard a station and they study it, and that's where the whole story of Alien Romulus comes into play.
That's not the case from Aliens 2, where she's kicking it out very close to a planet, and it's going to fall under the gravitational influence of the planet.
No, it didn't. No, there's nothing about it falling close to a planet.
No, okay, so the thing is that
there is
not
she wasn't aware of the potential. So kicking out, basically blowing out into space and making it, she just made it somebody else's problem is what I'm going after that. But she probably wasn't aware that blowing it into space would have killed it. Ripley was not aware that the xenomorph one thing that people were not aware of is that when in extreme circumstances like that, the xenomorph has an advanced defense mechanism in which it sheds its skin and secretes a hardened biochemical resin that wraps itself in a protective chrysalis, or kind of like a rock cocoon.
But that's not going to stop it from being cooked, right?
It will. No, it will. It's how they're able to seed other planets when they're in space. Because they're genetically designed to do that. Because no matter where they're at,
they're genetically designed to violate the laws of physics, are they?
No, it's just that if they're able to seal themselves in and they come in, they're able to regulate their own temperature, and they're able to re-enter. They're able to re-enter planets and seed they're able to re-enter planets like meteors.
Yes, and look what happens to fucking meteors when you see what happens to meteors when they are introduced to the ground. Look, and meteors are not organic.
Not according to the comic books, Tony. Have you not understood the lore? You've got to read the Gospels.
Look, I don't think that a group of people who wax lyrical about the implausibility of biblical narratives
wax lyrical. It's fucking gospel, dude. It's the comic book, for Christ's sake.
So Tony, so the rock hard resin shell it secretes acts as an adaptable shield. The cocoon can insulate and protect the creature against upwards of 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit of atmospheric re-entry.
You're really geeking out here.
If the xenomorph is damaged during re-entry or a hard impact, its highly efficient biology and rapid healing factor can allow it to recover.
God damn it!
But it can be killed by fire.
He read the.
They use flamethrowers on it in the first. If that were the case, it would have just climbed in through the fucking engines in the first film because the heat doesn't damage it. Did you see the bits of, in the first film, it tries to climb in through the fucking engines and then gets blasted out into space. That wouldn't have happened if it was just immune to heat. If it could just go, now I can erect it, and we're using flamethrowers to kill the fucking things throughout the entire story. They
seem to have a problem. They seem to have a problem with fire. They don't seem to have a problem with the fucking with the very extreme temperatures of space.
So apparently we are having problems.
Re-entry involves plasma. That's just fire. Fire is plasma, right? It's the same thing. You're surrounded by plasma.
So I do want to point out the irony that we are trying to argue about
Andrew,
the possibility of science that has the word fiction following it.
Wait, heads up. This is important. And I actually had to go. I wanted to make sure and double check on this. They never actually kill any of them with flamethrowers. They never actually kill any with a flamethrower. They kill them with the pulse rifles, but they don't never actually kill them with the flamethrowers because they are afraid. They do fear fire, and they run away from it, but they will come back. So hang on a sec. They do have an animalistic fear of fire that causes them to retreat. Hang on. But the reason, no, and hey, Tony, the reason for this is
Tony,
been
this is the
explained.
gospel.
It's,
This is the
it's
gospel
not
of aliens, dude.
because
You're not gonna
it
win.
is not because they can be killed by it. It's because fire disorients their sensory their sensory systems, and with them disoriented, it leaves the eggs vulnerable. They cannot defend the nest if they are disoriented by fire, so they run away with it to regroup.
Run
Which is
away.
what-
Okay, we have an addendum, however, because
They brave Sir Robinette, and then
because-
they come back.
chest bursters in that form have been toasted.
Those
Yes,
have been
they have.
because they don't have they haven't developed their exoskeleton yet. You are correct. The chest burster, the egg, and the face hugger are
Hang
all
on,
susceptible.
hang on. No, you don't get to do that because
Yes, he does.
Armor hasn't developed yet, Tony. Apparently, this is how this
the
works.
armor, but
They haven't developed
the
their
armor can
animal.
be the
No,
armor
no,
can
no.
be as good
That's
as
a
it
different animal.
wants.
It's a difference between
It's not
it's a difference
going
between a
it's not
slug
going
and
to
an ant.
stop the heat
Slug
from
and an
being
ant.
transferred into the organic material that kills it. And I will also
What's up, Randall? Flagg?
point
Good to see
out
you.
that fucking space shuttles and re-entry capsules precisely grade their entry paths and control their entry paths so that they don't just bounce off the atmosphere and they don't just burn up like cinders by coming into sharply. So you're telling me that that xenomorphs with no ability to control their
I have
trajectory
a better question.
are capable of surviving whichever re-entry path they happen to come in on, because their heat controls are that good. I don't fucking believe you.
JL, JL,
Hold
hold on.
on.
Wait,
One
Andrew,
second. I
Andrew,
want
I got
a
a better.
quick overarching statement. I'll let you pick up from this line.
Oh, come on!
Theists
I just want to
out
bring
there?
something up real quick. Damn it!
This conversation is what theology and hermeneutics looks like.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I was just
If
gonna
you
say,
feel like
JL,
you're
that's good.
winning,
or Andrew,
look
I
here.
was- Andrew, I was just gonna say this.
Keep
JL,
fighting, Jay.
when you-
Keep
when you-
fighting.
No, I'm not. I'm not
My,
fighting. I'm just gonna
I
try
have
to diffuse- I'm-
overachieved already today.
Oh, you already have. You already have. But I'm going to try to see if I can one up you. JL, when you started to do this as a way of making a living, did you ever think it would go to this point?
Not on this channel, no. Over on Week in Horror, yes. We had conversations like this all the time over on the podcast.
And also, I think that JL's position is instantly undermined by the fact that he
shit.
doesn't see the fucking plot holes in 7.
Oh, there's no
Don't
plot
eat-
holes.
don't-
they wipe them out.
No.
You could just say, "Nuh-uh." He doesn't believe you.
You and I hold fundamentally different axioms, and I don't have to accept yours.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
My own motherfucker.
All right. Well, I'm going to, as fun as this has been, I've got to get going. So I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, sir.
This actually was quite fun and great hand grenade, Andrew. Well done.
That's
All right.
Good. JL admits good exists in a vacuum.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly. All right. Talk to you later, guys.
Yes, sir. Have a good.
Mm.
And yes, you are correct. The spam goes here. This is every conversation at every comic convention ever. If we were to get into like the big, and I like this because Greg Sanders brings up no Dune. If we were to get into like, you know, the moral issues in, like, within Dune, like what the Bene Gesserit are doing and the manipulation of Paul, there's some big things there. But I think what Herbert was expressing with the relationship with the Bene Gesserit and how they in order to maintain the power that they had and the influence that they had.
Are we under Dune now? What the fuck?
Oh, I
What
was
did
just saying
miss?
it's.
just went to go
I know.
listen
I was saying
to
that what Herbert wrote,
Moving the goalpost.
what Herbert wrote in that was a fantastic. It was a great example of how religions often operate, in that through the controlled narrative and through the spreading of that superstition and then maintaining like essentially the Bene Gesserit, by presenting themselves as like the way they are, helped to fill the mystery and the mysticism of the things that they believe when they know it's all bullshit.
This coming off of Aliens just seems like a Mott and Bailey to me, JL. I don't know.
We have got
really safe when he's talking about worms.
we have got to
baby. Shai Hulud.
I really want to get a believer up here, but they've all been cowardly. Unfortunately, and here's the sad thing is I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, so I don't have access to a TikTok stream that I could funnel people in that way because I don't have enough followers on TikTok in order to. I don't even advertise my TikTok. I'm on it. I just don't have enough followers on TikTok in order to get like to go live there. At least I don't think.
Those
do
are
I even want? Do I even want?
We got to pump those numbers up.
Yeah, the rookie numbers. Do I even want to do that? Because that's what I see a lot. Like John Cohen and Planet Peters, a number of others have the ability.
Deconstruction Zone. He does it on
TikTok Justin
too.
D's. Yeah. They have the ability to funnel into their YouTube channel like via their TikTok and.
Oh, he channels to like Facebook. I think Justin does Facebook, Twitch, like a bunch
MySpace.
He does. Yeah, not MySpace. That's only if he wants booty calls.
And you're right, Hosa. Christians are afraid to have the xenomorph morality conversation. They can't handle it.
All right. Well, I'm going to take off, guys. You have fun. Hopefully, you find some fresh meat to grill. I'm going to watch a movie with my wife. We're watching that new one from Guy Ritchie with it's got Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill in it.
Oh,
The Gray Area or something like that. Can't remember
okay.
the title. Yeah, we're going to be watching that. So have fun, guys. And
hey, Jay, if you ever get a chance, have you seen Guy Ritchie's movie Revolver?
Revolver. Like, how old is that movie? I think
it's fairly old. Let me just a second.
Is that with Statham?
Yeah. 2005 is when it came out.
Yes, I believe. Let me see. Yes, I have seen that one.
Okay. Just curious.
Yep. I don't remember it ending all that well. But anyway, I could be also confusing that with that other. What was that other one? What was the one with Daniel Craig?
Layer Cake.
Layer Cake. That's the other one. Okay. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna watch this one, and it didn't review well, so I'm waiting to see a disappointment. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Cool.
All right. See you guys.
Take it easy, bud.
Easy,
Bye.
Jay.
Oh, that was good times. Good times. Well, I hope everyone in the live chat enjoyed that as much as I did. Get a little. If we have nobody up here and I'm not reviewing anything, we have a tendency to nerd out. Gotten a bunch of people coming into the Discord channel, the voice channel there, but nobody has come up on stage, which is a shame. And it sucks because I've had a fantastic audience this entire time and have not had anybody want to come up. So great audience to take advantage of and nobody to have the conversation with, which is really, really annoying.
Such high hopes. I
know, right?
Yeah, good question. What was Cartesian's little feedback there? Because that didn't look like it went well.
Oh, I actually didn't. I didn't hear what he was saying. He was just like, no one wants to come on your little channel there, man. I was like, I heard like that part, but then I just banned him.
Mumbler.
Yeah.
Wow. We occasionally get a few.
Fingers crossed. I really was hoping somebody would want to come through and at least get a conversation going. I didn't have I unfortunately did not have a review deal, but then again, I wasn't planning on going like the super long distance tonight, just because I'm getting really tired and I need to go to sleep. Real, I can go. Nobody there. Bunch of people in the Christian chat, and I don't want to come through. And I can't go on to PNR. I'm banned. I'm still banned from PNR, so I can't tap that. Then again, if I was inviting people to the stream, Blackout would probably ban me again.
Oh, looks like Matt Slick's actually active on PNR right now in the Calvinism room. Speaking of,
I actually messaged him and just sent him the link to the stream.
Oof, that'd be ironic. Love his organization, CARM, Christian Apologetics Research Ministry, because research is really required for something that's had zero developments in decades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep researching.
Take it easy, Hosa. Hosa's got to go. Finish making my animation fix. Oh, very cool. Well, have a good one, Hosa. I hope it turns out well. I can't wait to see it. And yes, Matt is sick. Really, dude is pretty twisted. I'll say that. Not seeing anything there. Well, darn it. Well,
Do you have a short one that's worthwhile?
I don't. I didn't have anything pulled because I was hoping we would get. I'm hoping like starting at 6. I was hoping we'd get some in, and we got keyboard warriors in, and we got people strafing the Discord chat, but nothing there. Then again, it might just be a good thing. It might be just going. Might be a good opportunity for me to just crash because I'm getting sleepy. But at least we had okay conversation amongst ourselves. Talk to the live chat a bit. Well, I can't.
Lots of contention.
Right.
Xenomorph lives matter.
Well, I can say this. I am currently 28 away from 15K.
Woo!
28 subscribers. So if you're interested in subscribing to Bridge the Divide, that would really, really help me out. I am currently 28 away. If everybody here in the live chat is subscribed, that's awesome. I do appreciate that support. Anybody who's not, that would be really, really cool if you checked it out and check out my content. We're coming up on the 3-hour mark, and I was thinking about going 4 hours, but 3 might be it because I don't want to hold people up. If we're not getting anybody in, I don't want to waste anybody's time because this has been a lot of fun, just kind of like hanging in here and talking about this. Matthew Mulkeen for $5. Thank you so much. As appreciate for a fun conversation. Thank you so much, Matthew. Appreciate that support. All the super chats go a long way. They really help to make this thing possible. So I think this may be a good spot, unless I suddenly get surprised by somebody popping in. Yeah, where's Grace when you need her?
Hey, Clive, he's not Beetlejuice, okay? I don't think it works that way.
Oh, he just might be. But I think it's good. So I think that this is a good point. I think it is. We're 5 minutes away from the 3-hour mark. I think 3 hours is pretty solid. It was kind of a slow night, unfortunately. Nobody coming up on stage. I'm going to look into try and expand it out to try and get more people on. We've had better luck on Sundays than we have on Wednesdays. I don't know. Maybe I can figure out the TikTok thing. Maybe try to funnel people in that way. If I can figure out how it works, I'll have to talk to Planet Peterson or somebody who knows it better than I do. But content coming out, of course, on this channel. And if you like that, check it out. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any notifications. I do this every Sunday and Wednesday. And of course, if you like the stream, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. And of course, if you have any comments on anything, please feel free to leave a comment because that really helps drive the channel in the algorithm and make sure more people see it. So, but other than that, Andrew, you got anything going for us today or anything coming up?
Likely late Sunday.
Cool.
Yeah. Once again, you can see me on here. Yeah, I don't have a channel.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that'll be good. And I appreciate everybody, all the channel members, all the new channel members. Thank you all so much. All those milestone chats are really good to see. And of course, all the super chats. Thank you so much for that support. Couldn't do this thing without y'all. And of course, everybody who just hung out the entire time. You guys are an amazing audience. And I do appreciate, you guys being here. So, as usual, I do this every Sunday and Wednesday. This is the Stage of Reason here on Bridge the Divide. I am JL. Stay tuned for more stuff coming up, and hopefully we'll see you all on the next one. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and thank you all so much for all of the birthday messages. I do appreciate that, and we'll see you on the next one. So as always, I'm going to go and do this because I should be up here. As always, be safe, be excellent to each other, and together we can bridge the divide. We'll see y'all. Say bye, Andrew.
Ciao, ciao.